from all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal!
So the live commentary from Ibrox is available on digital, as you can hear. It's going to be available on digital, on medium wave, online, and at BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker here on FM, BBC Sounds. Also online, various ways of listening into us. It is going to be open all night. So you've got Rangers against Motherwell. Rory Loy will be looking after that one for us. We'll have John Rankin at Easter Road. He's there indeed, but when the action gets underway, he'll be kicking into action on open all mics as well. And that's for Hibernian against Celtic. Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Cammy Bell in charge of that one. Michael Stewart for St Johnstone against Hearts. Livingston St Mirren with Alan Preston. And Dundee United Ross County with Willie Miller. Sportsline highlights on tonight at 11 o'clock on the BBC Scotland channel. So the action, gosh, that's a quick turnaround for the guys who are on the programme there. BBC Scotland channel, 11 o'clock, all the action from tonight's matches. Little pointer ahead. I can't even remember which day this is. This is Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, so it's Friday Sports Sound. The rugby, Edinburgh against Glasgow. On Saturday, no Sports Sound, but there's the Off the Ball Hogmanay special between midday and 2 p.m. And looking forward to next week when the action gets up and running in 2023. Would you believe it? Sports Sound on 11:30 next Monday. And they'll be starting off with full coverage, of course, of that game between Rangers and Celtic. Tonight, though, the final 6 fixtures in the Premiership for 2022. What a year it has been. Utterly convinced that we've got another night of mayhem and madness ahead of us. Leanne Crichton is in the Glasgow studio, sitting all googly-eyed in front of 6 screens. Leanne?
I love when you mention mayhem that you then come to me. Yeah, if it's anything to go by Saturday, it could be a busy night. Let's just say that.
Right.
But all the screens are on, all the feeds are coming in well, so I'll leave it up to the guys to give me a heads up if anything's happening, and I'll be across it as soon as I can. Yeah,
I mean, the good news for me is that in the Aberdeen studio, not only do I not have 6 screens, I don't even have 1. It's not salubrious here, but it's handy, and it's great because I can settle back and relax and enjoy listening to you and all our open all micers out and about around the country. One particular game catching your eye, one that you're particularly intrigued about, Leanne?
Do you know what, Richard? Probably not. The games on Saturday I thought were excellent. Every game that I watched, it was action-packed. Of course, VAR played its part. But you could see how much it meant to the teams to be back for a start, and having football back after the World Cup break is excellent. So no, I'm across all the games tonight. I'm interested to see how they play out. Of course, the Old Firm match is looming, so it'll be interesting to see if Rangers and Celtic can both continue their winning form that they're on heading into that one.
3 wins out of 3 for Rangers under Michael Beale. They're at home to Motherwell this evening. Rory Loy looking after that one for us. They're up and running, Rory?
Yes, they are indeed, Richard. And the first 2 minutes have been taken up with corners. Motherwell won the first corner of the match with inside 30 seconds as Rangers went up the other end and 1-1. And Lundstrom's got a chance here. It's well cleared in the box. Barisic took the corner from the opposite side, but it's been a fairly even start to the match. Only 2 minutes gone, but I must say, I must be showing my age now, Richard. I don't know who's in control of the volume with the music beforehand, but I can finally hear myself think, so I'm enjoying that side of things. But fairly even opening 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, welcome to my world. I'm going to say, I do find that now as I wander through the dressing room on match days. I try not to say those fateful words that immediately have you painted as everybody's da or granda, which I'm sure you exactly the same. At least you don't have to worry about being in the dressing room on a Saturday afternoon now, Rory.
I'll be hearing Tina Turner in my sleep tonight, I tell you.
Right, Cammy Bell, Rugby Park, game up and running.
Yes, Richard, game's up and running early. Nothing's really happened so far. Teams are just settling down into their shapes, and Kilmarnock had a little spell of possession up in Aberdeen's half, but came to nothing. So, but yeah, a game I'm really looking forward to. The wind looks as if it's settled down a little bit, and the rain certainly went off at the moment, but it was lashing down before the game, which will help the Rugby Park's AstroTurf pitch.
What an absolute sitter from George Grant here at McDermott Park.
Hearts have started the game very brightly, and on this occasion it was a break. Lawrence Shankland slipped Giannelli through. He took his time, he played the ball into Cammy Devlin's path with a poor ball. It meant Devlin had to slow up. He cut the ball back. Shankland again had to strike. It came off George Grant, who then was within the middle of the goal, so probably about 7 or 8 yards out. It deflected into his path and he hit the post. I don't know how he managed to miss, but Hearts have started this game very, very well so far.
I take it from that little groan, Leanne, that you've just seen, that incident.
Yeah, he's just completely overthought it. He's tried to place it right into the corner, and as Michael says, he hits the post with it, I think.
Outside of the post as well.
Yeah, no, it's a real poor miss.
Goalless at McDiarmid Park, but Hearts should have had the early lead through George Grant. I think we've got an issue with Allen. We'll get to him. At Livingston, never an issue with Willie Miller. He's at Tannadice, Dundee United against Ross County.
You're having a laugh.
A lot of talk about nerves initially, Willie. Is that evident in the early play?
No, not really. You know, the home side have had the bulk of possession. They're taking the game to Ross County. There hasn't been any opportunities or chances, but certainly they don't look nervous at all. Great crowd in here. Richard, you know, considering the conditions as well, time of year, because as you know, it's just poured down. It's a header. Oh, it's just by the post for Dundee United. I think it was Edwards, Ryan Edwards. It was up cross from the right hand side. Liam Smith putting the cross in. It was well above the Ross County defence. Got the header on it. Didn't get enough power on it. It just drifted by the far post. But a good cross. Not a bad header, but I think it was a little bit obstructed by a defender. But at least the intent is there, and United are certainly taking it to the visitors. 0-0.
Yeah, he's unlucky, Willie.
Potential chance here for Motherwell. Alan McGregor comes storming out his goal. It's a ball played in behind, and McGregor misjudges it, and Connor Shields closes him down. Connor Shields gets there first. McGregor does get something on the ball. It's led to a Motherwell corner, but a little bit of panic stations at the back there for Rangers to get away with one. It's still 0-0.
Right, we'll wait to see what comes of that corner. Leanne should be in a slight delay as she watches the pictures coming in for Sports Scene tonight. We'll get her thoughts on that as well. But
yeah, I'm just looking at Alan McGregor coming out, as Rory says. I don't know what the Rangers defence are doing. They're certainly caught short, wide open. I think McGregor does enough. I'm not too sure who the recovering defender was. It eventually stabs it for the corner, but a warning sign to Rangers, because there's moments in the game I think you can be as comfortable as you like in possession, but if you switch off, and that'll be the game plan that Motherwell have got, to look to try and punish them on the counter.
Goalless it is. Rangers against Motherwell. Hibernian Celtic will be getting underway in about 7 minutes time. So John Rankin is there for us. Big crowd gathered inside the stadium, I'd imagine, John.
Yeah, there's a decent crowd gathered, Richard. The Hibernian Ultras are over on the far side making lots of noise. It's corporate just now that's standing in front, but there's a good crowd, a good away support as well, so really looking forward to the game.
And it was interesting, wasn't it, to hear the stat that Liam gave us there. Celtic have dropped points in 8 out of their 10 visits to Easter Road since Hibs returned to the top flight 5 years ago. It's some record, that you've got to say, isn't it?
It's a great record for Hibs. It really is. When you look at making it difficult for the Old Firm to come here and to do that to Celtic, then it certainly is. But I look, Richard, at the 6-1 defeat that Hibs had at Celtic Park earlier in the season. It was interesting because I listened to Lee Johnson's interview, and he was talking about half of them going and pressing and another half staying, and it wasn't right how they done that. If they all stayed, then great, or if they all went, then great. At least they all knew what they were doing. But tonight he's made 4 changes since the October 15 fixture at Parkhead, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they change the way they play from then. And as I said, he's only made 4 changes, but I'm really interested to see what system he goes, because I've got in my head, I think they're going to go with a 3.
It'll be fascinating. I know you're having that conversation with the guys earlier on. That one, I've got to say, I did chuckle at that one when Lee Johnson said half his team were on the front foot and half his team were on the back foot, and it just conjured up this image
of the gaps in the middle that John was speaking about with Porteous, but not knowing what's coming behind them. I hope there's not half in the front foot and half in the back foot tonight, because it'll cause all sorts of problems.
Well, they'll have to hope that all 10 outfield players are on the middle feet, I suppose, and can take it from there. It's going to be a good game, that, you imagine, and there could be a lot of excitement. If you want to hear live commentary, that'll be with Liam McLeod, John Collins and Pat Bonner. We'll let you know when that's up and running online. Shouldn't be too long, I hope. Rangers against Motherwell is available online right now. It's also on digital, 810 Media Wave, and your smart speaker, BBC Radio Scotland Extra. I'm here in the Aberdeen studio. Leanne Crichton is in Glasgow and keeping an eye on all the screens as the action unfolds.
Leanne, have a wee look at this one for me. Alfredo Morelos goes up with Paul McGinn as the ball's cleared. Motherwell have started really well, by the way. They've had 3 corners inside the first 8 minutes. Looks like he jumps into Paul McGinn. Look, I'm right in front of it. It looked like he had an arm up.
Yeah, I've caught it just in real time, Rory. I might get a replay at it. Certainly looks as if he's backing in.
He's up now, McGinn,
yeah,
to be fair.
The contact looks like it's perhaps just below the chin out of McGinn, but certainly he's probably rose with the elbow going back the way. I wouldn't say he swung the arm, but certainly he's off balance, and I don't think there's too much in it.
Leanne, while we try to re-establish the line with Alan, have you been able to pick up in any of the action from Tony Macaroni?
Bits and pieces, nothing.
There's a penalty incident here at McDermott Park. The corner kick's been given.
It's a goal! It's a goal!
Well, let's hear about the goal first.
It's a goal for Dundee United. Richard, Glenn Middleton. It's actually, I think it would be an OG. It comes off a defender running back towards his own goal there as Middleton picked the ball up. Magnificent crossfield pass as well from Ian Hart, right to left. Middleton takes it down, goes to the byline, pops across the face of the goal, and it comes off a Ross County defender, and it ends up in the back of the net. I'll check out who that defender was. I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just getting a replay of it just now. The penalty incident that Michael's alluding to is a handball, which to me looks like it was a handball.
Well, the game's still stopped for the corners, obviously.
Yeah, he flicks up. I mean, it probably slightly further out from his body than what you would describe as a natural position.
Well,
yeah, it's going to be
blowing his whistle here.
It's going to be a penalty for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Hearts have started the game very, very brightly. It was a ball whipped in across the front post from Ginnelly. George Grant got to the front post. He tried to just nick it on target. Obviously came off of one of the St Johnstone players. It happened so quickly, but all the Hearts players were calling for it. The corner kick is still waiting to be taken. This is taking an eternity. Well, I mean, he's going to be called over and have a look at it.
Leanne made that decision very quickly.
That is exactly what I was just about to say, Richard, that Leanne had one look at it and went, that's a penalty. Now, Hawaii is taking so long for the officials, and by the way, obviously Leanne's on a delayed feed as well.
Yes.
Why it's taking the officials that long?
Is Willie Collum now going to the screen?
He's down in front of us, looking at the screen, and it seems inevitable that penalty is going to be given.
Perhaps that I've missed, but
here we go. He's back on the park.
For me, is it McGowan?
A penalty.
Yeah.
It's a penalty kick. The Hearts have got the penalty. I've not seen it. I've got to be honest, my gut reaction is it's harsh.
It's right, it really extended out from his body. Probably just below shoulder height, his arm.
Okay.
Unfortunate because it's a flick. You know, he's not expecting the ball to be reversed the way it is. But no, for me, it's probably as clear a handball as we could get nowadays.
Which is not very clear.
No. And you'll probably still debate it later on when you do see it.
Anyway, Ryan McGowan's been yellow carded. Lawrence Shatlin's got the captain's armband, is going to step up to take the penalty. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with the penalty kick, if Hearts do go one in front here, it's no less than they deserve, because they've started this game. Sorry, no more than they deserve, because they've started this game very brightly. Shanklin in the corner, 1-0.
Well, it's an excellent start, isn't it?
What a finish! It's a goal for Rangers, and I must say it's against the run of play. Rangers have been really poor, but the ball's fed out to Borna Barisic, and what a delivery that is from the left-hand side, right to the back stick, over Ricky Lammy's head, and Alfredo Morelos is on the end of it to head it into the empty net, past the keeper even, Liam Kelly. It's Rangers 1, Motherwell 0.
Yeah, as you say, Rory, brilliant finish, but it's all about the delivery from Borna Barisic. That is exactly why Borna Barisic is in a Rangers team.
Yeah.
That type of quality off the sides is outstanding. It's almost undefendable. It's right on the head of Alfredo Morelos, but a brilliant header, bullet header into the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Balance. Anton Devine did fantastically well on the left-hand side, but it does obviously, if you're not naturally left-footed, take you a little bit longer to get out your feet, but wonderful delivery. And Rangers have not started well. Tillman got booked after about 8 or 9 minutes. The ball was thrown to him under no pressure. It went over his foot, and he brought Connor Shields down right in the edge of the box and was quite rightly booked for it. Rangers go one up, and maybe that'll give them the shot in the arm they need, because like I said, Motherwell have been the better team.
Yeah, the delivery, just seen it again. It's whipped into an area. The goalkeeper, Rory, doesn't want to come for it, because it's that way you might find yourself in no man's land.
Yeah.
And Lammy can't defend it because the quality is so good. It's whipped in behind him.
Yeah, wonderful.
Take nothing away from the movement of Morelos to get on the end of it, but certainly the delivery is top class.
Right, so it's been a very, very hectic few minutes. Rangers have gone in front, Dundee United have gone in front, and Hearts have gone in front. That's a 9th penalty of the season for Hearts, a 9th for Lawrence Shankland. All 9 have been scored, have been converted. It's only a 2nd penalty that St Johnstone have conceded this season. Both of those have been scored.
Shankland's still on for 20 league goals, Richard. I said it when he signed for Hearts.
Yeah.
Not happened since John Robertson, and just got the feeling that he's going to be the man to do it.
Well, I mean, Robo
got penalty kicks as well.
Aye, look, it helps, but you still have to put them away.
Of course you do.
And he has been doing, as I say, that's...
he's been a wonderful signing for Hearts, he really has. And when you talk about, I've just been talking about the injuries that Hearts have had. When you've got somebody that can put the ball in the back of the net, it really is transformational. Hearts have played this game really, really well, but yes, it's a penalty kick. Goals change games, though. It now adds a real gloss to what's been a good performance so far. Because if it's still sitting at 0-0, you're thinking, okay, right, you need to try and convert.
Richard, Connor Randall, it was that was unfortunate enough to put the ball into the back of his own net there to give United the lead.
Right, and no question, it was an own goal, Willie.
No question, no.
Yeah, it was going away from goal.
Yeah, it was a cross. I'm sure it wasn't going in. It was a cross. He was trying to, rescue the situation, running back. He really needed to steady himself a little bit, I would have suggested, and it's come off his shin as he's went for it. I think it was his shin, and it's ended up in the back of the net.
So 1-0 for United, that's Connor Randall own goal. 1-0 for Rangers. Morelos, 13th minute, just a 5th goal of the season, but it sounds, Rory, as if it was all about Borna Barrett, or mostly about Borna Barrett.
It's a chance here, though. It's a chance for Ross County, and he puts it by the post. I think it's a Rura. Yeah, it is.
Let's hear about the goal.
Oh, no, it's not. Excitement, early excitement for me. The ball gets played into the box from Hibs. It's a long ball, gets played round the corner. Chris Cadden's running into the box, and he's adjudged to be offside now. The referee has got his earpiece in, so it looks like an instant for VAR.
Looks offside to me, John, at first viewing. Yeah, we'll see it again, but he certainly looks like he's straight to get a better angle here. Good build-up play from Hibs. He's marginal. Yeah, he's going to be offside. Good build-up play, good finish, but it's going to be offside, no doubt.
John, there's real frustration for the player, for the team, but do you also take some comfort from that, almost some confidence from that? Hey, here we are early in the game and we have breached this Celtic defence.
Yeah, they've had a series of corners, Richard, downswingers from the right hand side. Joe Neal's been taking them, and then now get down the left hand side, get in and get a shot on goal. So the Hibs will take huge confidence from that. Yeah, if they're frustrated the goal doesn't count, but definitely take confidence from it.
Right, it sounded like there was intense excitement somewhere.
Just chance on the back, it was Richard.
And I don't get sent to too much these days.
Right, but
it was a ball in from Danny Armstrong. Yeah, it was a chance for Kilmarnock. Again, Kilmarnock started really brightly. Aberdeen have really struggled. The weather's definitely changed for the worse here, and they've struggled to deal with the pitch as well, but Kilmarnock have been all over them. It was a ball in from Danny Armstrong, and Ash Taylor just couldn't get enough on the header. It was only 3 or 4 yards out. If he made any connection, it's in the back of net, but a real bright start from Kilmarnock, and Aberdeen are struggling to get grips with them at the moment.
Yeah, it was a big chance, Cammy. A good move, certainly from Taylor to get himself free round the back, but probably just overstretching towards the end, as you say. Couldn't do enough to keep it on target, but a good early chance.
It would have come as no surprise to the Aberdeen fans had Ash Taylor found the net. He's done that a couple of times. Certainly scored early in the season, albeit Aberdeen won that game convincingly in the end. But I think there is that sense of fatalism almost among Aberdeen fans that both Ash Taylor and Derek McInnes will come back to haunt their former team. So still goalless early on, Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Dundee United, they could be moving off the bottom of the table. Connor Randall's own goal has given United the advantage. 1-0 against Ross County. I think we're still struggling to get Alan re-established.
No, Richard.
Oh, you're with us. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, it's been quite an even match so far. Two good footballing sides, got to be said. With one booking, Mark O'Hara's been booked for an early challenge. But it's very, very tight game. But they're trying to pass through the midfield up to the forward.
What a chance at McDermott Park. Hearts again, I tell you, playing some great football. Eventually, it came down the right-hand side. Forrest cut infield. He tried to clip the ball into the box. Defender cleared it, but just managed to flick it on. Halliday was at the back. He turned, I think it was Dre Wright, inside out, onto his left foot, expecting him to hit the target, and he blazes it over the crossbar. Still 1-0.
Yeah, it's a good chance. Again, Michael, sorry, Richard. Andy Halliday does really well with the first touch, actually brings it out there with the left foot, chops it back in with the right, and then lashes at it with the left foot just over the bar. But as Michael says, Hearts seem to be all over this game.
Well, they've certainly got the confidence right now, and Alan will never be in any way upset at being interrupted to hear about
chance for Tillman there. Really good move by Rangers, I must say. It goes in behind the Motherwell defence. Tillman balloons it way over the bar. He should do better for me, his ability, but the ball fell to Lundstrom on the edge of the box. He took a strike and a massive deflection up into the air. Tillman could potentially take it down, tries to go first time, and balloons a great chance to make it 2-0. Remains 1.
So Rangers bounce back quickly from what was a difficult opening spell for them, Rory.
Yeah, I still think Motherwell look dangerous going the other way. I really do. Blair Spittle a couple of times could have been in if the pass to him had been slightly better. Rangers have found a little bit better shape to them now. Lundstrom's dropping into the in between Davies and Goldson to pick the ball up and spread some passes. You've got Lowry wandering, and then you've got Kent coming in the pitch, as we previously spoke about. I do think they look a little bit suspect though at times when Motherwell go forward. So there still is something in this game for Motherwell. Just looking at a little bit about Motherwell before the game, you know, they've lost 9 league games this season, Richard, and they've lost 8 of them by 1 goal. Yeah. You know, you could deep dive that as much as you like, but you know, and come up to reasons as to why. But there's not a lot going wrong for Motherwell at the moment. They just need to find themselves on the better side of these scorelines.
Sorry, can you have a look at this challenge, Alex? Yeah. Yellow card for me. Pittman flies into a challenge. Right in front of Davy Martindale.
Just missed it. Hopefully Alan will get a replay just shortly.
So that's in the Livingston St Mirren game.
Pittman will be booked, I would imagine. His back is on the ground. He's writhing on the ground in an agony. Steve
McLean's got the yellow card out, certainly. I think Pittman's come off just as bad.
Right, we'll get the outcome of that one in just a moment or two. It is still goalless in that game between Livingston and St Mirren. It's been fairly lively early on at Tannadice, where Dundee United have a narrow advantage against Ross County, Willie Miller.
Yeah, they've had most of the game, Richard, but a huge chance for Awura, who kind of out of nothing really. It was just a long ball played forward. Charlie Mulgrew goes for it, has a swipe at it, mishits it completely. It then goes towards Ross Graham, who is startled by it. He doesn't react well to it. The little winger nips in, takes it off him, runs in goal, and really should put it by Mark Birighitti in goal. He puts it wide of the post. A huge opportunity to get back in level terms, but it was squandered.
1-0 for Dundee United as things stand. They would be moving on to 16 points. They would be ahead of Ross County. They would be 1 behind Kilmarnock, who are currently goalless. 0-0 it is.
Is this a check for a potential red?
Possible red, yeah. I was just waiting for Richard to finish, Alan. It does look a bit reckless, I would need to say. Pittman comes together, almost both feet together. It is a possible lunge, you could describe it. I do think he maybe tries to ease out of the challenge just towards the end, because I think he knows it's not going to look good. So, but the angle that I had of it wasn't the best, I would need to say. He plays through the ball and it's in the way down. You could see a possible red for this, actually. He catches Bacchus just above the ankle. It's with his right foot.
Bacchus is in a bit of pain and has been struggling away.
No, listen, I think I won't be surprised if this is a red. And Stephen McLean looks at this again.
He's changing it, here we go. Stephen McLean, he's now looking for Pittman. Yeah, I apologise for the language that's run round about me, I'm afraid. Yellow card has been rescinded. It's going to be a straight red. Pittman's off.
Right, Scott Pittman, oh wow, 2 games in a row, an early red card for Livingston. It means that's 7 players they've had sent off this season.
Oh, Fletcher off the post. Stephen Fletcher with the header, good ball in. Dylan Levitt taking the free kick, and Fletcher, why does he not get picked up? That must be the question that Malky Mackay will be asking. He's up there, he's not under any pressure, he gets the little deft touch on it, he tries to just guide it in to the far corner. Unfortunately for him, it comes off the post and away from the danger zone.
He's so good aerially, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying about the marking, but he always manages to find himself a yard or two of space that he can go and attack the ball. It was the same in the weekend matches. He had a couple of really good opportunities. Craig Gordon came out on top with a couple of them, but it's another brilliant chance, as you say.
Big chance
just
coming
back
up
at Livingston again here. Sorry, Rory. It's Connor Valoff has just sat down in the box, in the 6-yard box. We've still not had this free kick. That's resulted in Pittman being sent off, but the Livy goal has just sat down.
Right, I'll come back to you, Alan. What's happening, Rory?
There's a big chance for Rangers. It's on the right on the D of the box. Free kick for Rangers. Ricky Lamy was tripped up. Tillman, was booked for it, and it's very, very dangerous area. I'll come back to you if there's anything from it, but a really good move by Rangers. Lowry dispossessing Stephen O'Donnell. Rangers attacked well. There's a big chance coming up potentially.
Right, chance here, Richard, at Rugby Park as well. It was a shot from, I think it was Ryan Duncan from the right hand side, the good save from Walker, and then I think it was Coulson who tried to get on it. It kind of dived, and he's ended up with a booking for simulation.
There was no
I think the referee's got it right, has he?
He's got to score.
Dive, Cammy.
Was it a clear dive, Leanne?
Leanne, I'll come back to you. What's happening, Willie?
Well, I thought it had to be a goal there for Ross County on the break. I think it was Dander that had the opportunity, and they're claiming for a handball.
Chance. Huge chance at Rugby Park. Huge chance at Rugby Park. And again, it was a long ball over the top, and Christian Doyes flicked it on, and I think it's ended up with Rory McKenzie and Scott Robinson, and Keller Roos has made a fantastic save there to keep the scoreline at 0-0.
And in that game, Leanne, you saw Hayden Coulson.
Yeah, he's dived.
Yeah.
straight up.
Did you see that save there, Leanne? Was a good save?
Yeah, good save, but who is it that gets the shot off? Is it McKenzie?
I think it's McKenzie,
yeah. It probably does him a favour though by keeping it near post. I think if he goes back across him, it's a much more difficult save to make, but strong arm from Keller Roos.
Right, Coulson's gone down in the box, a dive in the box, is it?
Yeah, he takes a touch, Richard.
Why do players do that now, given they know VAR will review the situation and they won't get the award?
I know, he's anticipating the contact. I'm not sure who it was that goes to reach the knees, probably slightly high. And he takes a touch beyond and is anticipating the contact, as I say, and goes down. It's a yellow card because you're looking for a penalty for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this phrase anticipating contact has kind of come into the game in recent years. I mean, it's just, how about anticipating getting the ball and attempting to shoot at goal? They've just come back to that red card for Livingston, 7th of the season. They're up there alongside Hearts and Stranraer, 7 points apiece as the worst offenders in Scottish football right now. Strycek, Goncalves, Bahambula, Fitzwater, Boys, Holtz. That's pending, of course. The suspension has been appealed, and Scott Pittman now been red carded. And Alan, they've only gone about 9 minutes longer without their sending off than they managed at the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for Livingston. They've got to, just a bank with 4 at the back now and then 4 in the midfield, and it's a long furrow. Really a shame for Anderson. He's up on his own, but you would think now St Mirren, Stephen Robinson won't keep his normal back 3. He could actually go and play 2 at the back against them and push 1 forward if he wanted. But we'll just have to see how the game pans out. But Livingston are a tough nut to crack here, Richard, at times. But you would surely think that St Mirren have got a heavy advantage now.
Richard, you talk about, what you try to do, anticipate contact. Oh, I can tell you for experience, I remember against Aberdeen at Tynecastle, there was an incident, and this was obviously before VAR, and I probably would have gotten a bit more trouble if the VAR was about. There was a penalty awarded. I ran in, and all I was thinking about was just nicking the ball before the goalkeeper coming out. And I was convinced, obviously, I was going to get wiped out. That was all I was thinking about. The 2 players charging to the ball, just get the touch on the ball, and then you'll get wiped out. And I fell down, anticipating contact. It didn't come, but if you, I swear to God, I would have held my hand up in court and said I was touched. And for some reason, I don't know how, the referee gave the penalty kick. and then reversed the decision like a minute or so later and took the penalty away. So
wow.
I've got a certain degree of sympathy with not blatant diving, but when you're going into a challenge and there's two of you going in for it. Now I've not seen the incident.
No.
If you're there and you can see the other player coming in, then you're just thinking, win the ball, you're going to get, you know, contact and it'll be a penalty kick. That can happen on occasions.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think if it's at pace, and in some ways you're even trying to avoid...
Michael running at pace in the box.
Okay, I appreciate that, but that wasn't the correct terminology.
Is that the same kind of thing that Charlie Adam anticipated the touch when he done it?
I mean, that is the exemplar of that particular incident, you've got to say. Still, yeah, if ever feeling a wee bit down, folks, just go and have a wee look at Charlie online. But he anticipated contact, he anticipated it from about 15 yards away. That was the big issue, Mikey. You were a few inches or feet away and clearly thought you were about to get hammered.
Of course.
So what is the outcome of this conversation? Is a dive not always a dive then, Michael?
Exactly,
even if you're not touched?
No, I think a dive is always a dive.
Oh, off the post. Ross County cross comes in. I think it was it Jordan White? There was two. I'm not too sure if it was Jordan White or Keith Watson there. Two of them looked as though they were going for it. Leanne, you might be able to help me out there.
Does it come straight from the corner?
Straight from the corner, the header that comes off the post. Another opportunity. Listen, I'm coming here thinking that there's no excitement in this game, no incidents in the penalty box. It's been brilliant. Just lacking a few goals. There could have been 4.
Yeah, I think it might have been Watson, really, you're right.
Yeah.
He attacks it really well, goes across the goalkeeper, just comes off the post.
Just a one goal. Just a one goal so far for Willie, but it's a goal at least, and it's a goal that, as things stand, would see United move off the bottom of the table. Dundee United 1, Ross County 0. It's Kilmarnock 0, Aberdeen 0. Cammy Bell has had a few moments though.
Yeah, there has been, Richard. There's been a few moments, but listen, Kilmarnock are absolutely on top. They've had the best opportunities so far. Aberdeen have really struggled with conditions and to get to grips with this pitch so far. And there's been a few opportunities that Kilmarnock will look back and think they should have done better with. But yeah, again, Kilmarnock look very bright. Danny Armstrong, again, the main man. Every time I've seen Kilmarnock this season, if he plays well, they end up getting results, and he started the game really strongly on that right-hand side, cutting in on his left and putting a lot of dangerous balls in. The Aberdeen defence, again, look very shaky.
I don't suppose, yeah.
I was just going to, to change the subject here, but I'm just watching Robert Snodgrass playing like a quarterback. He really is top class. Hearts are through into the box again. Forrest, what a goal! What a goal from Hearts. I tell you, the reason I was starting it was because Hearts had kept the ball for probably about 20 passes before. Wow. And then the ball drops into Snodgrass in that deep midfield role, and he just, first time passing forward, takes players out the game. Couple of passes, the ball's in the box, Forrest takes the touch and passes it into the bottom corner. That is a goal right out the top draw for Hearts, and Robert Snodgrass is different class. He really is.
Yeah, it's lovely, Michael. Brilliant goal.
Fifth goal. Sorry, Liam. We've obviously got a slight delay here, which is why we're occasionally talking over each other. You give us your verdict on it.
It was lovely. I never seen the build-up in terms of the 20-odd passes, but certainly the 3 forward passes. And as Michael says, Snodgrass in the middle of the pitch. The last number of games I've watched him, he's been excellent. It's Halliday with a through ball for Forrest, and it's the simplest of finishes is what he makes it look with the left foot. But it's just breaking those lines. It's the type of football that you want to see. Yes, you can have possession-based football, but if you don't break the lines, you don't create opportunities. And Hearts have started this game really well, and that is a top-class goal.
5th goal of the season for Alan Forrest. I heard someone, and I can't remember which of you it was, but someone suggesting a few weeks back.
And it's a goal for the home side. It was a long ball down the right-hand side. McKenzie got on it and cut it back. Again, the Aberdeen defence is sleeping. Robinson nicks in front and fires it into the bottom right-hand corner. Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 0.
How good is that, Rory, defensively? That is...
Big chance for Motherwell. Oh! Dean Cornelius, it comes in from the left-hand side. Mark Penny goes to the back post, comes back out to Dean Cornelius. Terrible first touch. Good block on the line from, I think it was Ben Davies, gets it away in the end. Sorry, Cammy.
No, Was it Scales that was on his heels, Leanne?
I think so. I'm just getting a better look at it now, Cammy. But why he's trying to take a touch on the edge of his 6-yard box with a delivery that's coming in like that, on his heels, completely off balance.
And Robinson just nicks in front of him and obviously finishes it. But listen, Aberdeen tonight have been shocking defensively. They've looked really, really ropey. The back three that's in place, and that has been coming, to be honest.
Yeah,
St Johnstone have just had a chance here. Best bit of play from them. It came to Stevie May on the edge of the box. He took a good first touch, set himself up inside the box, just in a slight angle, blazes it over the crossbar though. Still 2-0 to Hearts.
A chance for Livingston. Montano, been good pressure for Livingston, considering they're down to 10 men. A couple of corners, the ball comes to the edge of the box. Montano, a left foot shot just wide of the target. Still 0-0 here.
So 1-0 Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Scott Robinson, first goal of the season. No surprise to hear of more defensive woes from the Dons. Let's go to John Rankin. We've got some really early excitement at Easter Road in the 8 o'clock kick-off. It's been a bit quieter since, John.
Yeah, it has been quiet, Richard. We've had in the 10th minute, Mooy get in behind on the right-hand side, and it looked to me as if he could have squared the ball, but he tried it. I think he tried to lift it and it went over the bar. That's the closest Celtic have really been. Hatate is shown probably the only example I've ever seen of a free roll from right back. It's been unbelievable. He's starting positions in the right back area, Richard, and even Celtic build up, he almost finds himself in an inside 10 position, picking up the ball, and Celtic are threading it through, so it's impossible for him to defend. But on the flip side of that, when they win the ball, Johan on the far side is able to run away from Hatate, and Celtic don't have any cover, so they're getting down the left-hand side, but they don't have any support quick enough. And it's really interesting to see that battle of where Hatate is and Johan goes as well.
I've got to say, John, that is one hell of an example of an inverted fullback, isn't it? He's turning up in that position.
Richard, it is fascinating to watch, honestly. He's coming off the right. Taylor, you see him off the left-hand side, and he's doing it frequently when he comes in front of the midfield. But Hatate isn't coming in front of the midfield. He's actually hiding behind, like Porteous and Newell, to pick up the ball, and it's causing all sorts of problems because Abada's on the far side. It's fascinating to see the positions he's picking up.
That's what it was like on Saturday, John, in the game. He scored 2 goals, could have scored a third, hit the post. Started it right back. Well, played the whole game there. It was brilliant.
It's causing problems for Louis Stevenson, Alan, because he doesn't know whether to go and pick up the wide player or come inside and pick up Hatate, because what's the biggest threat? Hatate's obviously the biggest threat, but when you've got a wide player then in 30 yards of space driving at you, how do you slow him down?
Incredible. Right, incidentally in England, about 22 minutes gone, it is Leeds 0, Manchester City 0. That's a one game this evening. That kicked off at the same time as that one at Easter Road. Hibernian having that goal ruled off very early on for offside against Chris Cadden. John just enjoying so much of the play there, but no goals. Hibernian 0, Celtic 0. It sounds as if the performance of the evening so far perhaps has come from Hearts, who, Michael, are very much in command at McDermott
I've just
Park.
heard there's a possible penalty check. I swear to God, everybody in the ground has just been like, what on earth is going on? I don't think a single person. No, I'm presuming it's St Johnstone because the ball's down this end of the park.
So you don't even know which side it's for.
I honestly, nobody in this ground knew what was going on, and then it came over the tannoy. He's going to look at it.
Right,
I've no idea either, Michael.
I've got no idea what is
this puts me in mind of that Livingston Aberdeen game where I can't remember who the ref was, but he kept giving penalties that completely bamboozled the commentary team. I think there were 3 that day, weren't there? And the commentary team saw none of them coming. Well, this will be interesting.
It's a handball, a cross coming into the box, and it's Andy Halliday was diving across.
Yeah,
I don't think this is a classic case of, for me, a penalty be given. It's given, but for me, no.
Yeah, he's right on the line of the box as well. He goes to defend the cross, Michael, as it comes in. Both feet leave the ground. Yeah,
I don't think it is personally.
I know.
Because it comes down to he's diving to try and block the cross. His arm is in a completely normal position for what he's trying to do there.
I don't know if you would call that a natural position.
Oh, it's a goal for Rangers. It's 2-0, and it comes directly from a corner. It's Borna Barisic with the assist again. He whips it in, and Connor Goldson rises the highest of everyone to head it in. Goes in off the underside of the bar. Motherwell will be scratching their heads as to how they're for 2-0 down. Story of their season, played well, losing 2-0.
Oh, missed the penalty! Graham Carey blazes it over the bar. Xander Clark, whether he's going to get a clean sheet here tonight or not, that's the best opportunity St Johnstone have had so far to get one past their old teammate Graham Carey. Tried to reverse it, it was nowhere near on target. Still 2-0 to Hearts.
No, he couldn't have got that. He couldn't have got that more wrong. The only thing you're hoping at this stage is there's been an infringement in the box and you get a chance to take it again. He lifts it so high up and over the bar.
I mean, just to paint a picture for us, Leanna, we're talking Harry Kane scenario.
Yeah, as good as that.
So that everybody can have that image in their minds.
No, it's as good as. He almost goes to try and put it in the postage stamp with the left foot back across goal.
I like how you say as good as. Yeah.
On everybody's mind, it's my screensaver.
Graham Carey had scored 2 out of 2 so far this season, but his 100% record is gone. And what a chance that would have been, Michael, for St Johnstone, completely out of the blue, to get back into a game that Hearts were in command of.
This is as good a performance from Hearts as I've seen in a long time, and considering everything that's going against them, as we've already spoken about, at a ground that not a favourite place for them, that would have been a real reprieve for St Johnstone to get their noses back close to. I'm just watching again, there's a chance here, it's out wide. The Hearts have managed to sort of clear the lines a little bit, but yeah, they would have been able to get themselves back in touching distance to Hearts just before half time in a game that Hearts have been so dominant in, but missed the opportunity. I'm surprised, because Graham Carey is somebody who's got really good technique. I was expecting the net to bulge and for St Johnstone to get themselves just the goal behind, but they're up the other end attacking again. It's out for another corner kick. Still 2-0.
St Johnstone 0, Hearts 2. Lawrence Shankland penalty, 16th goal of the season, 9 of them from the spot. Alan Forrest with his 5th of the season. The point I was going to make a little earlier, actually, one of you guys, and I can't remember who it was, had suggested, I think, that Robert Snodgrass could turn out to be the signing of the season. Could be absolutely pivotal in terms of Hearts and where they're going to go. From what you're saying, Michael, thoroughly enjoying his performance this evening and getting a real indication as to just what a figure.
Oh, here's a chance. What's Xander Clark going to shoot? The ball. There's a shot. I think it was Ali Crawford. There's a defender in front of him, flicked up in the net, but Xander Clark was down on the ground trying to make the save. It was spinning up in the air, and I was thinking he's a bit slow to react here. Eventually he gets across and gets a touch on it.
Oh, let's see about a goal.
Aaron Mooy has just put Celtic 1-0 in front. It's really good build-up play from Celtic. They're really patient. It almost becomes McGregor comes down the left-hand side, puts the ball in the box. It comes back out. Hibs don't clear it. Second phase, they get down the left-hand side again. This time it goes down the side and Maeda puts it in the box. Hibs head it clear, but it falls to Mooy, middle of the penalty spot, and he volleys it home. 1-0 Celtic after 27 minutes. Yeah, it's a good finish from Moy. John, certainly Maeda does really well down the left-hand side, as you say, puts the delivery in, but it's far too easy for Moy, unmarked inside the box. Here's going to be another. Here will be, is it offside? There was a cutback. St Johnstone player had a shot, and there was a couple of Hearts players going in, and you're just waiting for the penalty kick to be given, but I think there's been an offside given just before it. Honestly, I would love to see the penalty stats now. I know Kenny McIntyre was rhyming them off since VAR. Yeah. But they must have. Well, I mean, they almost got doubled considerably at the weekend. No, I mean, it's incredible to. I mean, I'll have last season's on my laptop here. I was just thinking back, that's Aaron Moy's first goal for Celtic. It's his first goal he scored in Scottish football in over a decade, since he scored one for St Mirren against Peterhead in a Scottish Cup tie back in January 2011. He does, Richard, get himself into very good areas, I would need to say. Not just today, which he finds himself in the box and unmarked at that, just with the movement as he checks back off, but probably just his finishing in certain moments. He hasn't been clinical enough, or he could have grabbed that goal a lot sooner in a Celtic jersey. Well, Richard, you're talking about stats. Like, they're there for everybody to see. Now, either we've got players in this country that do something a little bit different than anyone else in the world, or we've got officials that are interpreting the law differently. Yes. It's got to be one of them. It's one or the other. In behind, here's Stevie. Here's, oh, what a save. It was Stevie May, down low, good save from Xander Clark. St Johnstone are just beginning to get in behind Hearts on a couple of occasions now. I've got a goal, where is it?
Another one.
It's a ball in from the left. I think it was Ash Taylor who's put it in. I think it's Wright that's got the header. It's a great header in past Keller Roos, and it's 2-0. Kilmarnock can absolutely thoroughly deserve this lead, Richard.
Wow. Another goal for Kilmarnock. They're 2-0 up against Aberdeen. That's now 32
Oh, St
goals.
Johnson in again. Stevie May tries to cut it across goal.
Rather than having the strike, and Nicky Clark just couldn't get on the end of it. Missed opportunity.
Big chance. Oh, good save, Liam Kelly. It's a wonderful move by Rangers, I must say. A defence splitting pass through to Tillman. He back heels it to Morelos, who should score. A good save, Loty's right hand side from Liam Kelly. Alex Lowry really grown into this game here.
It's the first real chance for St Mirren. It's Fraser with the drive, half volley, right foot, good save. Conor Valoff, corner to St Mirren, still 0-0.
Right, have you got more to tell us, Cammy, about that Kilmarnock goal?
No, listen, I was just going to go back to that goal, Richard. Listen, it's ended up with Ash Taylor on this left-hand side, and he's whipped an unbelievable cross with his left foot in, and it's Joe Wright. It's a brilliant header, but Kilmarnock have been absolutely dominant in this first half. Aberdeen have been miles off it, looked really ropey defensively, and yeah, Jim Goodwin will have big questions to ask his team at half-time.
The concern for Jim Goodwin, Cammy, is both goals, the lack of urgency to prevent the cross initially is alarming. Just players watching the ball, you know, and as soon as the ball comes into the box against a Kilmarnock team who are equally, if not better, in terms of the aggression inside the penalty area, and something that I'm sure they would have pinpointed as an opportunity to capitalise tonight if you don't stop the cross. But what's even more worrying is that it's Ash Taylor that's popped up on the left-hand side to put the cross in. Players just completely switching off, not doing a job, never mind their own job.
Well, incredible, Leanne, and they've offered absolutely nothing going forward either, and that's the big question mark again. For me, they've been defensively ropey for a while, but going forward they've offered absolutely nothing.
Defensively, Aberdeen is the big problem they've got. I hear exactly what Cammy's saying in terms of going forward offering very little, but it's the defensive frailties that are going to be their downfall, and it's certainly so far, you know, since the return of the league after the World Cup, that defence has been their Achilles heel. And once you start, you know, losing goals with the regularity that Aberdeen are, it bleeds the confidence out the side.
Half-time at Ibrox, Morelos and Goldson with Alex Lowry in the last 15-20 minutes of the half really standing out. Some lovely touches, but it is 2-0 to Rangers at half-time against Motherwell.
Right, we'll get more from Rory on that.
Half-time as well, Richard, at Tannadice, 1-0 for Dundee United.
Against Ross County.
I'm struggling, Alan, I'm struggling. I'm just, you know, I'm just quietly sitting here listening to all the news that's coming in from Kilmarnock and Aberdeen.
Well, let me just add to that, because Aberdeen have now conceded 32 goals in 18.5 matches this season. Only Dundee United, who are bottom, or at least who started the night bottom of the table, have conceded more, and they've conceded 33.
Here's Hearts again. Oh, Janelli's cut back. He was in at the angle, he's cutting one across the face, is out for a corner. Hearts have been tremendous in this first half, just to add to your misery, Willie.
Right, and just to add to... Yeah.
Another opportunity, Richard, again, it's Ash Taylor down this left-hand side. Dinks in across to the back post, and I think it's Donnelly. He just gets his header all wrong and just heads it wide of the goal, but another opportunity for Kilmarnock.
Right, Leanne, in answer to your question, quick tot up there, just in terms of the Premiership, 45 penalties awarded so far this season.
Sorry, Richard, we've got a check at Livingston. I don't know what for, but there's a check going on.
I've missed it as well, Alan.
I know, honestly, I don't think anyone knows. I watched got to be the finest referee in display in the World Cup final I've seen.
Possibly another handball. It's inside the penalty area.
Thankfully.
Don't know if it's maybe a block, a player that was on the floor perhaps. I just seen the shot coming in.
Half-time at the Tony Macaroni. 0-0.
Okay, Alan just losing the will to live there on the VAR quite clearly. Yeah, just quickly then, 45 penalties awarded so far this season in the Premiership. Last season in total, 64. And when you consider we didn't have VAR for the first 4 months of the season. There had been more than half the penalties awarded had come in the space of 2.5 weeks compared to the previous 3 months at one stage, not long after it had come in.
I don't know if I've got drawn it Easter Road or if we've dropped off, but is that a brilliant chance that's come off the bar for
yes, Leanne.
Celtic? Yeah, but it's Maeda, isn't it, at the back post?
Yes, Maeda comes in at the back post. Atati comes down the right-hand side, crosses it in, and as he crosses it into the back post, Maeda's free and he headers it, but it looks to me as if David Marshall gets a hand to it. Would that be right?
He maybe gets a flick on the cross that comes in, but certainly not the header, John. It's probably I would love, maybe it's a bit harsh to say it's a bad miss because there's no goalkeeper in the goals, there's two defenders certainly on the line, but I think Maeda's got to do better. He tries to bullet it into the net, whereas I think he just needs to make sure he gets it on target, and it's so difficult to defend against. A let off for Hibs.
Remember, it's 1-0 for Celtic. That game kicked off at 8. There is commentary online. bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Hibernian 0, Celtic 1.
2-0. Wow. Maeda picks up the ball outside left channel and he drives. Cadden comes out to close him down, and I don't know whether he tries to go to ground to block a challenge or make a tackle or foul him. I don't know what happens. The Hibernian supporters in front of me jump up or having a go, but as Maeda drives, he feints to play it down the left hand side for a runner. Two Hibernian defenders by the dip of the shoulder. He cuts inside and he whips it right into the far top corner. It is a great finish.
It's an unbelievable goal. He picks the ball up about 25 yards inside his own half. As you say, John, he dips the shoulder. He beats the first player. He drives inside. He dips the shoulder again and he lets loose from probably about 20 yards outside. And it's a bullet finish right into the corner. David Marshall stands no chance. And Ange Postecoglou's actually standing rubbing his eyes, almost waking himself up from what he's just seen, because literally 45 seconds before, as I say, he's missed the header, and if you're looking for a player to respond, Richard, that's exactly what you want.
Half-time here at Park, Richard. It's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0.
Half-time here at McDermott Park, 2-0 to Hearts.
Right, that's us at half-time in the 5 matches that kicked off at 7:45. That second goal for Celtic, Dyson Maeda, just a 5th of the season. It adds to Aaron Moyes and it puts Celtic in pole position to make it 12 wins and the bounce.
Oh, what a goal! Goal! All the action.
What a moment! From all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal!
Half-time scores around the country then. Dundee United 1, Ross County 0. Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0. Livingston 0, St Mirren 0. Rangers 2, Motherwell 0. St Johnstone 0, Hearts 2. And the latest scoreline, the 8 o'clock kick-off, Hibernian 0, Celtic 2. In the English Premier League, similarly, an 8 o'clock kick-off at Elland Road. It is Leeds United 0, Manchester City 0. Right, let's start our half-time roundup by heading to Ibrox. That's the live commentary game you get on Digital 810 Media Wave online, BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker. The commentator there is Paul Mitchell.
And at half-time, Richard, it's Rangers 2, Motherwell 0. Motherwell starting exceptionally brightly. 3 early corners, they looked right up for it. Rangers 1 or 2 missed passes, didn't look like they settled into the game, and then what did you know, Rangers get ahead. 13 minutes, Borna Barisic's been given too much space on the left-hand side. Beautiful cross in. Alfredo Morelos, what a run it was into the area, and actually batted his header right past the goalkeeper. 30 minutes played, Rangers 1-0. Tillman was in the right place 7 minutes later, looked like he would score, make it a second, but he scooped the ball horribly over the crossbar. Must have been twisting her off balance, because it did look like he would net there. Cornelius 4, Motherwell after 33 minutes, a poor first touch at the edge of the area. It was a real golden opportunity and a wasted chance earlier in the match. Shields had almost got past goalkeeper Alan McGregor, who'd raced off his line. McGregor doing just enough and Shields being denied there. Second goal, though, poor one for Motherwell to lose. 39 minutes, corner from the left-hand side. Barisic delivered. Golson got the header away. Didn't look like the strongest header, but I thought the goalkeeper went with one hand, changed his mind, went with the other, and by the time he'd moved his body, the ball was nestled in behind him. Liam Kelly, though, did make a fine save on the stroke of half-time. Tillman, lovely ball into Morelos, who's looked much better tonight. Good save by Liam Kelly. But half-time in Ibrox, Rangers comfortable. Rangers 2, Motherwell 0.
Paul, thank you. You can hear Paul and Stephen Thompson. We'll get more from Rory Loy, who's doing open all mics for us. We're going to go to McDermott Park next, because it's been a very, very strong performance, it seems, in the first 45 minutes from Hearts. Michael Stewart.
Absolutely, Richard. It's been a wonderful performance from Hearts so far. Started the game very brightly inside the first 5 or 6 minutes. George Grant had the chance to put Hearts one up. He hit the outside of the post though. A couple of minutes later he managed to get into the box again with a ball getting fired across the face. He flicked it round the corner and Ryan McGowan was adjudged to have handballed. The penalty kick was given. Lon Shanklin, who had the captain's armband, stepped up and slotted it away to put Hearts 1-0 up. And then second goal coming with a wonderful move from Hearts. Probably about 20 odd passes by the time it landed at Robert Snodgrass's boot in the middle of the park. Forward pass into Halliday, another one slipped Alan Forrest inside the box and he passed it nicely into the bottom corner and Remy Matthews had no chance. Hearts 2-0 up and cruising, but just before half time St Johnstone had a lifeline with their own penalty kick. Andy Halliday adjudged to have handballed it, and up stepped Graham Carey. He slammed it well over the crossbar and Xander Clark managing to keep the clean sheet still intact at half time as Hearts are 2-0 up here.
2-0 it is. Shanklin's on to 16 goals for the season. We're going to head, I think, to Alan Preston next up at Amon Vale for Livingston against St Mirren.
Well, it's 11-0 St Mirren now at half time, Richard, but Livingston are down to 10 men. In opening period, it was a game, both sides very even in the middle of the park. Then in 24 minutes, Pittman goes in for a challenge on Bacchus. The referee initially, Stephen McLean, produces a yellow card. But after a VAR check, out came the red card and Livingston were down to 10 men. It's not been littered with chances this game. Montano had a shot just wide for Livingston, and then Fraser, a minute before half-time, had a right foot half volley, well saved by Konovalov in the goal. That gives us a half-time score. Livingston 0, St Mirren 0.
Can Livingston see it through, having been reduced to 10 men early in the game for the second successive match? Talking of early in the game, it was an early advantage for Dundee United against Ross County. Half-time now with Willie.
It was, Richard, and at half-time it's Dundee United 1, Ross County 0. A really, really good first 45 minutes. Wasn't expecting it, to be perfectly honest, but it's been open, it's been attacking, it's been pretty attractive as well, with 3 chances either side. United taking the first, but before that one, and that was in 9 minutes, it was United had the better of the early exchanges, and Ryan Edwards had a header that he should have done better with, a Smith cross. It was a rather weak effort from Edwards, but there were signs there that perhaps United was going to find a way past Laidlaw and goal, and that did come not very long afterwards. On 9 minutes it was Harps, a magnificent crossfield pass from the midfielder to Glenn Middleton on the left hand side. Middleton took it down, went to the byline, drove the cross in, and Conor Randall was unfortunate enough to be heading towards his own goal. It came off his leg and ended up in the back of the net to give Dundee United that very early lead. But Ross County weren't out of it. They had a huge opportunity. Awura, after a mistake by Mulgrew, and it was the other Ross Graham that was found sleeping as the ball drifted past him, and the midfielder got onto it. He really should have done better. He's got to find the back of the net, running 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He tries to slip it by him and puts it past the post. Dylan Levitt at the other end put in a magnificent cross from a free kick. Fletcher's header was unfortunate to drift off the post at the back post, but Ross County's had a couple of opportunities. One hitting the post, one just past. Watson header, from a corner. He gets onto it. He's not challenged. He manages to drift it towards the back post. He's unfortunate to see it ricochet off that back post. Very good game of football here for the first 45 minutes, as I said, Richard, and it's the home side that take the advantage. 1-0 at half-time.
It'll be a massive win for Dundee United if they can see it through. 1-0 there. It's 2-0 at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Cammy Bell.
Yeah, Richard, it's been an absolute dominant performance from Kilmarnock in this first half. Aberdeen just haven't got to grips with the game at all. It's been chance upon chance for Kilmarnock. First chance came about 15 minutes when it was a good shot from Danny Armstrong, which made a great save from Keller Roos. And then it was chance after chance. There was chances from Ash Taylor, Danny Armstrong again, McKenzie. But then the breakthrough came on 31 minutes. It was a ball down the right-hand side. McKenzie made the cross, the ball across the back four. And there was Robinson and Nick in front of Scales and finished from 6 yards home. And on 42 minutes, the ball was half through from Aberdeen and headed wide Ash Taylor picked up, left-footed cross, and Joe Wright headed home. As I say, Kilmarnock have absolutely deserved the lead so far, and at Rugby Park it's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0.
Right, thank you to Cammy Bear there. I'm just checking some of the reaction online to that. Is not pretty from Aberdeen fans' point of view, that's for sure. Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0, Downtown United 1, Ross County 0, Livingston 0, St Mirren 0, Rangers 2, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 0, Hearts 2, and heading towards half-time. Hibernian 0, Celtic 2, Aaron Moy and Dyson Maeda. John Rankin is there for us. I've just watched the Sky Sports, obviously covering the game, John, and I've watched some of the reruns of the goal, the Maeda goal that they've put up there. The one from behind is magnificent. You just see, I mean, they're caught by as the Celtic player goes on the overlap, and I must admit I was so mesmerised watching Maeda that I didn't actually watch to see which Celtic player it is, but I think the two Hibs players kind of get sidetracked by him and start to think, well, maybe he's the danger. Maeda comes in from behind the goal. It's just, the camera that's looking back through the net, it's just magnificent. What a finish it is. John Rankin.
No.
There's
no much chance of me knowing who it was if it was an overlap, but I'll tell you what, it's a great unselfish run from
That's why we employ you, John, for your insight.
Honestly, see, the angle I'm at, Richard, when Maeda's driving with it, the way he dips his shoulder, the two players buy it straight away. It completely changes your attention towards goal. And see, as soon as he does it, he just opens his foot out now. I would love to see it from behind the goal, because see from where I am, it starts outside the post and just makes its way right into the top corner. It is a quality piece of finishing, but as I said, it's all comes about from him turning in just inside the pitch, Cadden going tight, and whoever it is who makes that run, I think it might be Moy who makes a run, and when he makes that run, he takes two defenders away, and that wee dip of the shoulders at the right time. It's a great piece of individual skill.
You go with Moy, John, and I'll go with Greg Taylor, because none of us have looked at the run that's gone beyond, but we'll get clarity for the listeners.
It's Greg Taylor.
Is it Greg Taylor, Leanne?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it again.
I don't know, but he makes those type of runs for fun every single game.
It's certainly not Moy, because it's somebody with dark hair.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Moy doesn't have is a head full of dark hair.
Well, that's half time now, Richard. So it's 2-0 Celtic at half time. But that's Greg Taylor in the position that was talking about Hatate being in just before half time. He's always in those areas where he's actually behind the midfield. It's great to see. And if that's what Greg Taylor is as well, wow, they've got really good possession.
John,
and they've got good players making forward runs.
He does that relentlessly, Greg Taylor. I actually watched them on Saturday in the St Johnstone game, and the amount of times actually there was a wry smile across his face, because the amount of times he made that run and was never rewarded for it. I think he thought to himself, you're at it. You're asking me to do this and I'm never getting it. But that's the whole point, because if he doesn't make that run, it doesn't open up the space, and it doesn't give Maeda the opportunity to dip the shoulder and go inside the pitch.
I'm looking at this on my phone, obviously, so it's not a giant screen, but there's one replay there where you just see the number 3 flashing through the bottom edge of the shot. So it is Greg Taylor who's done it, and look, it's a massive contributing factor, but wow, what Maeda does after that is absolutely stunning. So it is half-time there. Celtic have the 2-0 advantage. You would fancy them surely to go on and pick up the points. Live commentary will be continuing online of that one. So that's at bbc.co.uk/sportsScotland. And that's with our commentary team there of Liam McLeod, John Collins and Pat Bonner. John Rankin will be with us for opening all mics. We've got the reporters out and about at all the games. We've got Leanne in the Glasgow studio. I'm here in Aberdeen, and you can also listen in live to the second half from Ibrox, where it's Rangers 2, Motherwell 0. That's on digital, medium wave and online with Stephen Thompson and Paul Mitchell.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder. What a goal! From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
So this is open all mics. We will be around the grounds. Let's go quickly back to Rory Loy, because Rangers clearly have got that big game against Celtic coming right at the start of the new year. They'll be well aware, no doubt, that Celtic are in command at Easter Road. Important the Rangers rallied from what was a fairly difficult start for them, Rory.
Yeah, underwhelming is probably the phrase I would use. I think a better team in the final third, or a team who took a little bit more care of the ball, might have hurt them, and they could have found themselves behind, because Motherwell have played well in the first 2/3 of the pitch. They'd just be a bit powder puff up the top end of the pitch, but Rangers did grow into the half, and as I said, towards the end of the first half, Alex Lowry started to show some really nice touches and grow into the game. A little bit careless in possession at times, but took responsibility of the game with a scruff of the neck and started to pull the strings. And once they went in front, Rangers, they did settle slightly. Connor Goldson added to that lead, but overall I think 2-0 flattered Rangers in the first half, so we'll wait and see what Motherwell can pose in the second half. However, 2-0 is a mountain to climb. They did do it here last season. I cannot see them doing it again this season.
2-0 it is for Rangers, 2-0 for Celtic, it's 2-0 for Hearts. Michael Stewart's watching on there. Shankland and Forrest, the goal scorers, and Hearts, well, looking very, very, very good right now, Michael, to move up into what you and Biscuit see as, at the very least, their favoured and deserved position in Scottish football.
Well, I mean, you can call it deserved as much as you want. You need to go out and earn it. And you know, I look at Hearts, the team, I look at the squad, and I just think that they are the strongest outside of the two clubs from Glasgow. And the performance they put in the first half would indicate that as well. I thought they were very good in the first half at home against Kilmarnock. I've got to be honest as well and say that the game at Tannadice, I don't think it was a bad performance from Hearts. I thought they were pretty good. Again, given the circumstances and everything that was going on in that game. And you look at the last minute, obviously it's a penalty and injury time. You look at the late equaliser that they have against Livingston just before the shutdown for the World Cup. They've done it on a number of occasions, and that is a hallmark for me of good sides that have got a bit about them, and Hearts certainly do have that, and they're going to have, you know, all of that and more over the course of the season, because I don't think we're going to see a fully fit squad for Hearts throughout this campaign.
Well, they're more than enough so far. They did have to survive a penalty missed by St Johnstone. Graham Carey sending it over the crossbar to St Johnstone 0, Hearts 2. Just taken by the announcer there at Rugby Park, who's full of festive cheer quite clearly and loving life.
Helps when you're 2-0 up, Richard, though, doesn't it?
Doesn't it just? Aye, yes, I can just imagine how one or two others might be reacting to that scoreline. Cammy, I'm just reading some stuff online, and obviously I've been folk getting in touch with me. Come on, Nick. Yep. Well and truly deserving of a 2-0 advantage right now, I'm told.
Listen, absolutely blown Aberdeen away in that first half, and Aberdeen looked like a bottom 6 team to me, to be honest. Looked really weak at the back, any physical presence, and I noticed that on Saturday when I covered them as well against St Mirren, that for me they're not strong enough at the back. I don't think Christian Doig just gave them a really hard time, won a lot of headers, but just in general they look lacklustre. They've never got into this game at all. They've offered absolutely nothing going forward, and every time Kilmarnock have put the ball in the box, Aberdeen look very frail.
And Richard, Anthony Stewart brought in, made captain. That's a big call from Jim Goodwin.
Was. Yep.
And I've got to be honest, it's one that I'm not convinced by. You know, I mean, there's aspects of his game that you can understand in terms of why he would be brought, but as a captain to walk in the door, I thought it was a bold statement from Jim Goodwin. But as this campaign is going on, I think it's one that's beginning to look like it's not a particularly wise choice.
This is a big game for me. This is a huge game for Jim Goodwin.
Just in terms of balls, just in terms of, well, he would have been the obvious choice for me.
Oh, it's cleared off the line. It's cleared off the line by Motherwell. I'm trying to see who's in. It's Ricky Lammy back there on the line. He does really well. It comes from a corner. It's not Lammy's centre-back partner. No, it's Mark Penny, the left back. My apologies. It goes into the box. There's a scramble. Liam Kelly's screaming at the refs now. He thinks he was fouled from the initial corner. It drops to a Rangers player in the box. It was so many bodies, I couldn't see who it was. Matt Penny's in the right place to stop Motherwell going 3-0 down. Rangers have been utterly dominant in the opening 5 minutes of this half.
You talked about a bold statement, Michael. The other bold statement that, and I can't remember the exact quote, but essentially it was the defence will, if it wasn't be easy to sort out, it was certainly along those lines. That one's kind of come back to bite him.
Well, the thing is, Jim Goodwin, you know, when you look at his St Mirren side, it was always middle to front, back to the, from the defence to the midfield up to the final third, you were like, they're a good side, well organised, but they lacked cutting edge. Now, you look at this Aberdeen side, it's the exact opposite. The exact opposite, because I think they have a good threat in the final third, but defensively they're all over the shop. And you mentioned the stat there that it's Dundee United that have only got a worse defensive record.
In terms of goals conceded,
yeah. Goals conceded, yeah. That is Aberdeen's Achilles heel, quite clearly. And it is what will undermine any chance they have of going for the third spot and getting into Europe.
Well, right now it is, clearly, right now it is heading to be. Willie's chuckling.
I'm just listening to it all, Richard, taking it all in. I'm just a sponge, taking all the.
Incidentally, Man City have gone 1-0 up against Leeds. Rodri with a goal there, just on half time.
Leanne, have a look at that mess at Aberdeen just again. They're getting themselves caught in the back, trying to play all, and they can't obviously do it.
Willie, take it in, Willie.
Deep breath.
It's outrageous. Keylor, they're trying to build for the back, nonchalant, knocking it about. Ball's played into the middle of the pitch, back to Roos. All sorts of trouble, Cammy. It's shocking, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah,
you're 2-0 down,
really,
play the game with a bit of urgency, try and break the lines, get the ball into the middle of the pitch, get the ball forward into wide areas and go and try and get yourself back in the game. It's almost like a training exercise that they're trying to look at how they would build.
Well, look, as it stands, they would only slip down to 4th place, but they would have St Mirren breathing down there. A goal for either St Mirren or Livingston would see them down into 5th spot. St Johnstone, it might be too much of a stretch for them to get back into that one against Hearts. And of course, Hibernian are trailing 2-0 to Celtic as well, so they're not going to go plunging down the table tonight if this scoreline remains the same.
Are they going to go plunging into the transfer market in the window?
Well,
four defeats in a row does a fair amount to the confidence, though.
Yep,
you know,
of course it does. And does it also potentially, will they do a fair bit of denting to the confidence of the chairman when it comes to the thinking about going into the transfer market?
Well, he could do, Richard. You know, he hasn't been slow to pull the trigger in the past, as we know. For me, it starts with the outlook and the tactics for the Celtic game. Yep. Totally unacceptable. And why Jim Goodwin thought that he could get away with that, with the comments from the chairman about the front foot football and expansive football, and then watching the team go out and just park themselves in their own penalty box for the majority of the game. Listen, they played well enough against Rangers, and it was the defensive frailties that let them down. I haven't seen, I wasn't at the game at St Mirren, and obviously not there tonight, but at home they've been very, very good. They do, as Michael says and Leanne has said in the past, they do have a threat going forward. I said that during the window, why does Andrews Considine have to go? I don't know why he has to go. He goes, you need another central defender. You're missing Ross McCrory in midfield. He's got strength in midfield, he's got aggression in midfield, and he gets forward too, but they don't go for another central defender. They think that they're going to just stick with Ross McCrory, so there are question marks there. The pressure will come on Jim Goodwin. He's got to expect pressure if you're losing 4 games in the trot, from a very strong third place position. That's just taking the wind out of everybody's sails. That enthusiasm that the Aberdeen fans have or had at Pittodrie is now dissipating very quickly.
Well, the thing enthusiasm you had, Willie.
Okay, it wasn't just Willie.
Okay, Richard,
let's be honest.
The thing for Aberdeen, and you talk about Ross McCrory, they clearly, Jim Goodwin clearly wanted to play a back 4 to begin with. He had his centre halves of Stewart and Scales, and McCrory was in the middle of the park.
Hold on, there's got to be a red card here at Livingston. Mark O'Hara, second yellow, and it's St Mirren are down to 10 men. He had one he had another tackle. He got yellow carded early on, had a tackle. The referee warned him. This time it's Anderson, just gets in front of him. He goes down. St Mirren captain is sent off. We are 10 apiece here.
Yeah, it's your standard yellow card, isn't it, Alan? Second yellow. Shirt pull, stopping a promising attack. It's a silly one from O'Hara because he knows he's on a yellow card. He's walking a tightrope from very early on in the game.
Livingston been down to 10 men, Leanne, have been excellent, really good. You wouldn't think they were down to 10 men for that long.
They have, Alan, and I was looking at that because I watched them at the weekend and I just thought they capitulated in the second half. They threw in the towel. It just didn't look like a Livingston performance, whereas tonight they're more dogged, they're aggressive, but they're still pressing. They've looked as if they're still on the front foot and are looking to get in behind, and that's where that press comes from. You go nick it from O'Hara, put him under a bit of pressure, and it's all square, game on.
Oh, they've hit the post! Chance! Goal! They've actually gone and taken the lead now.
Look,
unbelievable stuff.
Livingston.
They've been absolutely brilliant. This man Montano, the free kick comes in, it's flicked onto the post, comes back to Montano from about 6 yards, and he smashes into the back of the net. Livingston deserve it. They're 1-0 up against St Mirren.
Yeah, look at the celebrations in the sideline as well, Alan. Davy Martindale going bonkers. We staff alongside him. It just shows you how quickly a game can turn in its head. You know, one moment you're 11 v 10 for a long period in the game. It's all square, and to take a chance as early on as that. It's a good goal. They're switched on. They play off seconds really quickly. Montana does well. We switched on and alert and knocks it home.
Within 60 seconds of St Mirren going down to 10 men, Christian Montano has opened the goal scoring. It's his 4th goal of the season, which makes him Livy's top scorer. He's nudged ahead of Bruce Anderson, Sean Kelly and Joel Newbley.
I think there's another penalty kick being given here. It is.
What, in Scottish football? You're joking.
I'm not sure about that. Snodgrass, he's the wrong side of
Stevie May.
Stevie May. It looked extremely soft to me. He's adjudged to pull him down. Willie Collum, no doubt, he points the penalty spot straight away. St Johnstone have been better at the start of the second half, but they've now got another opportunity. Stevie May's the one that's going to step up and take it.
Yeah, I'll get a look at it again.
Snodgrass didn't look to complain too much.
No, there's not an awful lot in that. I would need to say probably very similar to the one at the weekend that we've seen. I wonder if they'll look at it again.
Well, it's obviously been delayed so that there's a look at it. My initial reaction was it was never a penalty. He's the wrong side of Stevie May though, as the ball's coming down out there, and he's wrestling as you do. I mean, the football is a contact sport. He gets the other side of him. The penalty's given. It's not getting retracted.
Yeah, similar to the Shankland one at the weekend. Not an awful lot of contact.
Right. Goal, 2-1.
Who took this one?
Stevie May stepped up and put it in the back of the net.
Leanne, if you get a chance to see that Livingston goal again, if it comes up, I believe it's Montano that hits the initial shot.
He follows up his own rebound.
Yeah, brilliant.
He comes in, sneaks in at the back post with the left foot, stabs it, comes off the post back out, and then he just side foots it back in. Actually, it happened that quickly. I didn't realise in the first viewing that it was him, but I seen it pop up a second ago.
So Stevie May gets St Johnstone back into it with his 5th goal of the season. First penalty that he scored. Livingston, incidentally, having gone in front against St Mirren, have moved up 4 places in the live table, right up to 4th place, tucked in just behind Hearts, ahead of Aberdeen. St Johnstone and St Mirren both a point behind Aberdeen right now in terms of that live table.
St Johnstone have been in a lot better in second. You mean quite clearly Callum Davison has put a rocket up the proverbial backside of the St Johnstone players, because they've been a lot more aggressive. Hearts were very composed and comfortable in possession, playing out from the back all the time, and the system that they play, it can sometimes be difficult for the opposition to go man for man, because Hearts get themselves into nice little pockets of space, whereas at the start of the second half, Stevie May and Nicky Clark at the top end have just been a lot more aggressive, right on top of the defenders as they've been trying to pass it out. Ali Crawford's been in behind pressing as well, and it's just put a little bit of nervousness into the Hearts defence, who, and I was going to bring this point up there earlier on.
There's a chance. Anderson's through, 1-on-1 with the keeper. Oh, what has he done? He's missed it. The keeper saved it. He should have scored. What a chance. Excuse the language again.
Morelos, it's got to be. Is a goal? No, it's off the line again. It's Paul McGinn this time. Liam McKelly blasts the ball up the pitch. It comes straight back down their throats. Morelos is far too strong.
Oh, he gets what a save! What a save that is! Leanne, we see the save from Connor up the other end. It's from Brophy's header. Oh, wow. I was writing down initially the Anderson chance. Brophy's had a header. What a save!
Brilliant, point blank. Great save. A good effort from Morelos as well, Rory, with the back heel, as you say, off the line. action-packed all over these screens just now.
He did what he could. Kevin Van Veen's now on. They played a 4-1-4-1 Motherwell for most of the night, so he's come on now. McKinstry's went off, and it's seen Connor Shields come out to this left-hand side where Stuart McKinstry was playing. Rangers have looked very, very good offensively at times tonight, I must say, but I still think they're suspect defensively at times, and a little bit more quality from Motherwell might have hurt them a little bit more. Comfortable now, it's 2-0, but like I said, offensively much better, defensively still frail.
Right, as it stands in the Premiership this evening, Dundee United 1, Ross County 0. We'll get back there in a moment or two. Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0. Livingston 1, St Mirren 0. Rangers 2, Motherwell 0. St Johnstone 1, Hearts 2. And Hibernian 0. Celtic 2. The first goal of the evening came at Tannadice. It was an own goal, which gave Dundee United the advantage. How is the game now, Willie Miller?
Yeah, it's just as good as it was in the first 45 minutes. You know, you're looking at both these teams down, you know, in the basement of the league, and you know, that's not what I'm witnessing tonight. There isn't the nerves that you would expect, the anxiety that perhaps you would expect from Dundee United taking the lead and maybe going into their shell and trying to protect it. No, they're going forward. You know, but Ross County, on the other hand, they've had their moments as well, and they're prepared to throw players forward too. So it's a tight affair just now. There's been chances, you know, either side in the first half and one apiece in the second half. So there's all to play for here. It's not done. Stephen Fletcher had an outrageous back heel there. So you could tell where his mindset is. He's confident. He's in a confident mood. The big striker, and he's playing his part tonight. So it's a very, very good game of football. Thoroughly enjoying it. United just now have the lead, but you know, Ross County are not out of it by any means. Well,
there was a moment maybe about 10 minutes or so ago, I think it was Smith that crossed the ball in for Fletcher, and he caught it in the volley with the left foot. Yeah. Wonderful technique.
It was a great block as well.
He does just ooze class, like a Robert Snodgrass. You can tell the level of the player and where he's been at in his career. Just certain moments, as you say, the wee back heel just a moment or so ago as well.
So it is, as we run down all the scores.
3-0 to Rangers. Really, really good going forward, as I've said all night. And once again, the ball gets played into Morelos. It's a lovely first touch, I must say. Full of confidence after that goal early on. He swivels and turns, plays in Tillman. Tillman chops back, chops again, and drives into the bottom corner. Motherwell well and truly out of it now. It's Rangers 3, Motherwell 0.
Rory, it's a lovely finish from Tillman. He actually, it's almost like he waits for the defender to make his move and just passes it. Passes it, I think, through the legs and into the corner. Not even right in the corner, he just does enough that Kelly doesn't stand a chance.
Allen.
Equaliser! Brilliant play by Brophy. Came on at half time as a sub lashes it across, and there's Curtis Main. Front post run, flicking it with outside of the right foot into the back of the net. All square at Amundvale.
Yeah, it's good play. Similar to the build-up that led to the brilliant save from Kolevalov. Down that left-hand side, lashed across from Brophy. He's looked good, Alan, since he's come on. He's a handful all the same, but good movement from Main to get across the front, and he won't score an easier goal at that. The movement's so good.
Yeah, it's a really good front post run by the striker. It's what you've got to do if you want strikers out crossing. He has to be across the front post, hoping that someone will get in at the back. He gets across the front of the Livy defender into the back of the net. Game on again, 1-0.
Well, it's a big one for St Mirren. Had the advantage, of course, for a large chunk of the game of playing against the 10 men, then fell behind whilst they've gone down to 10 men.
A wonderful corner, and you can imagine who it was that delivered it. The two players have clattered into each other. Snodgrass went into the tackle. I'm wondering whether Snodgrass has been booked already, and just the way that Willie Collum was running over.
Yeah, he get booked for the penalty, I think.
That's what I thought. Willie Collum, it looked to me as if he was running over. I mean, he's calmed things down now, but
I think he's maybe just concerned about Carey. I don't think it's a booking right enough. The two players do look as if they've just come together.
Thank you, Leanne, for a bit of common sense where there can be a coming together and nobody has to be punished. It's football at the end of the day.
But I did try and say that on Saturday afternoon as well.
Oh, well, I'm sure there was no many folk listening. Too many folk wanting to, vilify people for just going into challenges.
Nah, Carey and Snodgrass, their feet are as high as each other. For me, McCarey looks as if he's in a lot of trouble. Willie Collum certainly signalling for a change, but I think it's for Hearts actually.
Yeah, Hearts are making a couple of subs. Michael Smith and Barry Mackay are coming off, and George Grant, and who else is coming off here? It looks like I think it's Alan Forrest. Forrest and Grant are off, and Smith and Barry Mackay are on. But it was just the chance that was there. It was a corner kick, as you can imagine. It was Snodgrass with the delivery. It dropped in perfectly around about the 6-yard box, and it looked like Shanklin was going to be like on the end of it. He just mishit it under the pressure of a challenge from one of the St Johnstone defenders, and then the ball ricocheted back out to the wide area when Snodgrass went to challenge for it with Carey, and the ball went behind for a bye kick, and that is where it's about to start again with Remy Matthews.
All sorts of substitutions at Ibrox here, Richard. Trying to keep up the ball's not easy with the amount these days, but off go Tavernier, Lundstrom, Jack and Lowry. On come Kamara, Sands, Sakala and Devine, Miller, Tierney and Maguire on for Motherwell.
Right. Well done, Rory.
Of course, Rangers 3-0 up, and I suppose that's exactly what the manager Michael Beale would have been looking for, to have this kind of luxury to make changes, to get players off that he wanted perhaps to ensure might be fit for the next game, the big one against Celtic on Monday. Morelos, Goldson and Tillman all on target. Rangers 3, Motherwell 0. At St Johnstone 1, Hearts 2, Hibernian 0, Celtic 2. In fact, let's go to John.
What a goal from Barry Mackay! He's only on the park. He picked it up on the inside left channel, probably about 40 yards out. He cuts past one of the St Johnstone midfielders. It might have been Ali Crawford, I think. Infield onto his right foot, and he just bends it into the bottom corner. Remy Matthews, no chance.
Balls in the net.
3-1 up.
Balls in the net for Motherwell. It's Kevin Van Veen. Linesman flag does go up now, but I mean, he's 2-3 yards offside. I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if this stands, but obviously I need to report on it anyway. But one of those ones where it's 2-3 yards.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, Rory. The fact that he's disappointed when the linesman's flag goes up is excellent.
What a miss at Easter Road. Ball's
very tight. I actually think he's onside, Rory.
No.
Whoever it is in the right centre back, right back area, looks like he could be online.
Right, okay, you keep looking at that. Yeah, you keep looking. We'll get back to John because he had a big chance at Easter Road.
Yeah, it's for Hibs, Richard. The ball comes out on the left-hand side. Johan stands up, Johan cuts it back, and Newell whips it in with pace. And Nisbet finds himself in the middle of the 6-yard box with nobody near him, but he doesn't even head it. It's like he goes to head it and pulls his head away. What a chance and what an opportunity it is for Hibs to get back in the game.
Incidentally, just looking at Livingston and their tracking in terms of the live table, started the evening in 8th when they went 1-0 up against Cimarron. They're up to 4th. They're now back down to 7th. The Cimarron have equalised. It shows how tight it is in that section.
Charlie Mulgrew! It's a header. It's a second for United. It's a corner. He's actually stooping for it as he runs towards the near post, some 8 yards out. And he just glides it into the back of the net. Poor defended, well worked corner. United 2-0 up.
It's an excellent header, Willie. It's all about the corner as well. The pace is in the ball. He just needs to go and meet it and direct it, which he does ever so well. It's a brilliant goal.
Alfredo Morelos is walking off here. He was down for a good few minutes while the offside stands. It's no goal is the decision. Morelos is limping off here though, and that's got to be worrying for Michael Beale. I think he maybe wanted to get 90 minutes out of him tonight, but Rabbi Matondo's going to need to come on and replace him. Whether it's just precaution or not, I'm not quite sure, but Morelos is off, injured, and Matondo is on.
Morelos did open the scoring with his 5th of the season. Goldson and Tillman adding since. That goal from Charlie Mulgrew gives Dundee United breathing space. It's given them a really, really strong chance to not finish 2022 at the bottom of the table. Randall's early own goal. Charlie Mulgrew, first of the season. We heard Liam boxing earlier. It's the first time he's been able to call on Charlie since taking over as manager. And the big man has repaid the manager. United looking strong now, Willie, to go on and pick up those 3 points.
They are, Richard. You know, all round they've been the better side. They've had more possession. They look more of a threat. But in saying that, Ross County played their part in it as well. It's been a really good game of football. They've went toe to toe, but that second goal, you would think it would be enough to see them through this one. They haven't in any way, you know, tried to just hold on to that 1-goal lead. They've always been prepared to get forward, and they've created opportunities. And it was Liam Smith that had the opportunity just prior to Charlie Mulgrew's second.
Let's hear about the penalty.
It's great play from Celtic. It's that man Greg Taylor again. He cuts inside from the middle of the pitch in his false full-back area and plays a defence-splitting pass. It comes in off the left. Maeda cuts it back, and so it looks as if somebody's going to tap it in, and all of a sudden everybody just stops it looks as if it's Cadden, it's lying on the ground and it's a hand. There's definitely a hand.
Yeah, it's Stevenson it comes off the hand of, and at the point he throws it behind his back and hides it out of the way, indicates that it's perhaps come off the hand, which it has. And by the way, the pass from Greg Taylor is outrageous. Folk need to tune in to Sports Scene tonight to see this pass. Not that I will put it on the same level, so everybody calm down before I say it, but Messi's pass at the World Cup, right? But he beats probably the same amount of players with this pass. It's inch perfect, probably about 35 yards.
It looks like 4 players from where I am.
Class. It is honestly class, Richard.
It is just a third penalty that Celtic have been awarded this season. They've missed the previous 2. Both Giacomakis and Juranovic failing to score, one against Livingston, one against Real Madrid. So this one against Hibernian, John, to be taken by?
Well, there is a VAR check, Richard.
Right.
But it's to be taken by Aaron Mui.
Okay, well, maybe he's going to be the new Celtic penalty king.
Yes, it has been. It's definitely a penalty.
Yeah, they would have just probably been checking that there was no offside or anything in the build-up to it as well, and to confirm that it has come off the hand of Stevenson.
Moy's going to take it right-footed, and he puts it to Marshall's right-hand side, and Marshall goes opposite way. 3-0 Celtic.
Well, David Marshall, of course, saved 2 penalties against Livingston at the weekend, but he couldn't repeat the feat this evening. So having got his first goal for Celtic in the 28th minute, he's now got his second for Celtic as we move towards the hour mark at Easter Road.
Leanne, I don't know if you've seen the piece of skill from Ryan Kent just moments ago on the edge of the box. It was quite phenomenal.
No, I've missed it, Rory.
Turned Callum Slattery inside out. I spoke at the start of the game about how he comes central. He's far more unpredictable, you know, stuck out on that left-hand side. He's always going to chop back inside, but see when he comes into the middle of the pitch, he can go either way. He can jink left, he can jink right, and if he does go into his left-hand side, he can play a killer pass because he's in the middle of the pitch. He's shown real moments of class in the second half.
It's a goal for Ross County. This time it's the substitute, I think, Kayo, who has rifled it into the back of the net out of the blue. I did say that Ross County had played their part. You know, Malcolm Mackay made the substitution. It's paid off. The ball's just fell to him inside the box at an angle. He put it exactly the right place, high into the roof of the net. You know, to beat Birigiti in goal, to give Ross County a bit of a lifeline here, 2-1.
So William,
No, sorry, Richard, it's a good finish. It's almost a poacher's goal. He just finds himself in the right place at the right time, but makes no mistakes and lashes it into the back of the net.
There's a VAR check at Easter Road for a potential penalty again. This time
for which team?
It's for Celtic. Maida picks up the ball in the halfway line. He drives by about 2 or 3 players. No, it's no penalty. No penalty. He drove by 2 or 3 players, Richard, gets into the box, skips by Portes, and it looks as if it's a coming together, but it doesn't look like a penalty to me.
No, it's a coming together with Bashiri. I don't think it's a penalty.
We have a VAR check in that goal here.
Miller.
Yeah, we have a VAR check on the goal. I can only assume perhaps offside, perhaps. Offside,
yeah, I can only assume it's possibly for offside, Willie, which they will check the goal anyway. Of course they do. You just hope at times it doesn't take as long as it does.
Leanne, have a look at this, please.
Offside, Willie, sorry, is that goal disallowed?
No, wait a minute.
Right, hold on, guys.
What is he giving?
Leanne, can you have a look at this?
Yeah.
Bulla's holding his face in the corner. He goes down
it's
in
got
the
to be
corner.
offside.
Channel's done.
Yeah, I think
sorry, it's got to be offside in the build-up to it.
Yeah, you just have a look at that. Okay. Willie, so has it been determined, Willie?
Yeah, it's no goal. It's been given offside. So it was a VAR check. The referee didn't look at it, so it must be an offside decision from the VAR referee.
Right, so it must be clear and obvious.
Well, it's as tight as you will see if it's offside. Looking at it for me, I would call it as being in line. And it actually comes off a defender as the ball comes in.
Yep.
Defender defends it and knocks it into the path of Akayo, who then scores. So again, it's one for the listeners to tune into Sports Scene tonight and the highlights to see.
Absolutely.
And I've missed the one, Alan, sorry.
It's fine, it's okay. It's a yellow card for Charles Dunn, nothing more.
Okay.
If he is offside when the ball is played in, the deflection of the defender is irrelevant, isn't it? So if he is offside, the ball's played forward.
It's marginal if he's off.
As to whether he
Honestly,
was.
it's very, very tight. Yeah.
Well, it's been ruled out. It would have been a second goal of the season for Willie Macayo, but it has been ruled out by VAR. So Dundee United can breathe more easily. They still lead by 2-0 against County. It's still Cammy Bell. What a quiet second half it seems to have been at Rugby Park.
Listen, Richard, there has been a quiet half with regards to opportunities. Aberdeen have slightly got back into it. Listen, they've not made Walker work in the goal at the moment, but they've started to come forward. Ramirez is on up front, so they are pushing for the next goal, which would be vitally important for them. But it's been a scrappy second half, to be honest.
Oh, shout for a penalty!
Which suits Kilmarnock
he
at the moment.
gives it the other way. Oberlai goes down in the box. I think it's Marcus Fraser. Referees. Livy fans are going mad. They stand in front of you, so you're difficult to see.
Yeah, I've only seen it real time, Alan. It's not the best angle.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see this one close up when we've seen some of the penalties that have been awarded in the last couple of days. Certainly not an awful lot of contact required. We're not getting to see it yet. I'll come back to you.
Apologise for the language again.
So it's still, we should say it's not Alan's language he keeps apologising for. It is as one of the fans alongside him. Still
I tell you what, Alan, it's very harsh that it's gone against him, because
well, he's still demonstrating with the referee, Davy Martindale.
And whether they would look at this, possibly.
They are looking at it.
Yeah, because I don't think Oberlai's done anything wrong.
But how can he give a free kick to St Mirren?
And there's more contact, I would say, than the penalty awarded to Stevie May tonight.
And check over, play on.
So, still Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, both sides down to 10 men. Scott Pittman sent up a Livy in the first half. Mark O'Hara for St Mirren in the second. Kilmarnock still 2-0 up against Aberdeen. Dundee United 2-0 up against Ross County. County thought they'd scored. That was ruled out after a VAR check. Rangers 3-0 against Motherwell. Morelos, Goldson, Tillman. Celtic 3-0 against Hibernian. Moy made, and then Moy again from the penalty spot. The first penalty that Celtic have scored this season. They had two previously, both of which they had missed. And it's St Johnstone 1, Hearts 3. More penalty action there. Lauren Shanklin scored. Alan Forrest also scored. Graham Carey missed a penalty for St Johnstone. Stevie May then netted from the spots. Barry Mackay with a goal 20 minutes into the second half to restore the 2-goal advantage. He scored 2 goals in the opening fortnight of the season. That is his first goal since the middle of August. Important, probably from their point of view, Michael, that they got that goal, that they re-established that advantage, and maybe just gave confidence, took away any confidence St Johnstone were building.
100%, Richard.
4-0 goal, Furuhashi. Wow, really good play from Celtic. McGregor wins the ball on the halfway line. There's two players surrounding him, and it's just that desire to get to the ball. Gets his toe to it, and it becomes Hatate, and Hatate plays a defence-splitting pass about 40 yards along the ground. Furuhashi's through and goals, feints to score, checks back inside and rolls it by Marshall. 4-0.
It's a good goal, it really is. The finish from Kyogo's excellent, the pass from Hatate is equally as good, but I'm just wondering, John, where is the Hibernian defence, because they are so wide open. How Kyogo manages to find the space in between the two centre-backs and have as much time as that.
It's on the transition, Leanne. It's McGregor steals the ball off 2 or 3 players. I think they're on their way up.
But he's going back towards his own goal, and they're still wide open.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They're on their way up, but the way McGregor steals it, and as soon as he gets the toe to it, it's so sharp from Hatate. It's 2 touches just straight through them, right through the heart.
Yeah, it's lovely. Kyogo as well, just chops back inside with the right foot and calmly slots it home with the left underneath Marshall.
It's a 15th goal of the season for Kyogo. 14 of them have come in the league. He is the top scorer in the Premiership. He's kind of surged away. He was up there alongside Miovski and Cholak on 11 goals apiece for a period of time there. Shanklin actually moving on to 13 as well. He's second top scorer in the league.
And the thing is, Richard, for with Kyogo, and I was saying this the other night, that up until the World Cup, of course he's been banging goals in, but I defy anybody to try and argue that he's been anywhere close to the levels of performances he was last season. So
and yet that's him scored more goals.
Yes.
I know he missed a fair chunk of last season as well, but he scored more goals this season in the league at this point than he did in the whole of last term.
Aye.
Amazing.
The point.
But you're right. Yeah.
The performance level definitely not there. No. But you saw his goals the other day there against St Johnstone. Wonderful movement. So difficult to defend against. And you think Celtic, if they're able to get him back to the levels that he was at last season, they're going to be extremely difficult to stop. And he's a main talisman for them when he's in that sort of form that he's beginning to show now.
It's going to be 12 straight league wins. Of course,
here's Hearts on the break. Shanklin flicks it out wide to Mackay. Mackay's going to reverse it. Oh, it's poor. It's poor. If he just played it on the deck, Shanklin was through on goal. The St Johnstone defenders were getting back in, but Mackay plays a better ball back in. The Hearts captain would have been able to get a strike on goal.
Yeah, Celtic started the season with 6 straight wins. They then lost to St Mirren. Now it's going to be 12 straight wins off the back of that. Just an incredible record that they are putting together under Ange Postecoglou, and they're going to have that
must be really difficult, Richard, to be Giacomakis sitting on that bench. You know, he contributes every time he plays, every time he's in the side, and he needs to watch Kyogo, who, let's be honest, you know, as Michael says, possibly hasn't been as red hot as last season. However, scores.
Goal, St Johnstone.
Ooh.
Jamie Murphy slams into the bottom corner. The ball was played into Shankland in the middle of the park. He just took a little bit too long on it. It looked like he might have been fouled initially, but then there was a slide tackle from one of the St Johnstone players. Very good tackle to get the turnover. The ball then drops to Murphy on the edge of the box. He dropped his shoulder, then fires it between the defender's legs into the bottom corner. Xander Clark had no chance. And by the way, to go back to the point you were making before, Richard, about it was important Mackay got that goal to go 3-1 in front. It very much was the case, because St Johnstone started the second half well. They got that goal to go 2-1. The third goal from Barry Mackay was very important. Now though, they've got it back to 3-2, and it's game on again. As good as Hearts have been, there is only one goal of a difference in it now.
Yeah, really? Sorry, Leanne.
No, sorry, go Rory.
No, it's a really good save there from Alan McGregor, and it's from 16-year-old substitute Luca Ross, who found himself in a really good position right in front of Alan McGregor, but Alan McGregor's out so sharp and smothers him. Motherwell do have 2 16-year-olds on the pitch now in Luca Ross and Lennon Miller, who's been very good since he's come on, I must say.
I thought there was something else happening somewhere else. A lot of noise. All I was going to say there, Michael, brilliant goal from St Johnstone's perspective, because the press again's excellent, isn't it? At this stage of the game you could maybe feel out of it, 3-1 down, but they go and nick it, and it's a brilliant finish from Murphy, as you say. Drops the shoulder and just puts it back across goal,
which just emphasises the point that, you know, Richard made before about how important it was that Barry Mackay got that goal, because St Johnstone's performance in the second half has been vastly improved, and it was hugely important that Hearts got their noses in front with that 2-goal gap. Having been pegged back now, they have to get a reaction.
Really good save from Liam Kelly there. Unbelievable piece of skill. A little pirouette in the middle of the pitch from Kamara. Does so well. Kent plays in. Matondo, who's got to score. Outstretched leg of Liam Kelly keeps the score at 3. Should be 4. Like I said, it remains Rangers 3, Motherwell 0.
Red card here for Ross County. Awura has been sent off. It's a second yellow. Rather silly from him, pushing, I think it was Scott McMahon that he pushed. McMahon brought him down, he got up, he pushed McMahon in the back rather petulantly, and the referee really has got to take some action. It's right in front of the referee. It's a silly yellow card that turned into a second one and a red card for the Ross County player.
Yeah, just sums up the night, Willie.
Richard, Aberdeen are absolutely going for it at the moment. Obviously, they've almost got a front 5 on at the moment. They've got Duke, Majolski, Bazawin, who else have they got up there? Ramirez, and they're just trying to go for it as much as they can, but it's really just not happening for them. They've not had many opportunities on target at the moment, but Jim Goodwin's trying as much as he can at the moment.
Still 2-0 for Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. Awura Edwards sent off for Ross County. That's their 4th red card of the season. Still 2-0 Dundee United against County, 2-0 Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. It's 1-1 Livingston St Mirren. Rangers 3-0 up against Motherwell. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 3. Really challenging encounter, that one. Hearts with so much to enjoy, but St Johnstone have shown real determination coming back into it. Celtic are cruising. Remember the 8 o'clock kick-off, they're 4-0 up against Hibernian. For those of you who like your darts, Joe Cullen is through at the last 16. He's beaten Damon Hita by 4-0. Michael van Gerwen is in charge against Sulijovic, 3-1 up on sets earlier. Alan Suter, you'll remember, the Arbroath fan.
He was class this afternoon. He was brilliant.
What a comeback. 2-0 down to Danny Norporton. Looked out of it, Alan.
Yeah, well out of it, but it was brilliant, honestly. I thought at the start, the guy kept hitting 180s all the time.
Yes.
This is going to be over quick. 2 sets down, but brilliant from Suter. Magnificent. And the last Scotsman.
Yes, sadly. Anderson going out this afternoon. Of course, Peter Wright went out. The champion went out last night. I must admit, I've been kind of sucked back into the darts this year. Can always this
is the real darts. The other one in January starts, where you're better putting the darts in their mouth and throwing the board at them. I've never seen it go to double win so many times.
I was chatting about that with my son earlier, just saying that this is the darts that the other darts are the ones where you think you might have a chance of reaching the semi-finals.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's not put that to the test, Alan. Yes, the PDC, of course. Right, we're moving towards the conclusion of the matches around the country. We're hearing from Cammy there that Aberdeen trying to mount some kind of comeback, but Kilmarnock. If you looked at either of those teams, I thought which of those two sides were going to be able to see through an advantage and maintain a clean sheet. I know the game hasn't finished yet. You would always, Cammy, look at a Derek McInnes team as being able to do that. He did it time after time after time at Aberdeen.
Yeah, again, Kilmarnock have been fairly comfortable. As I say, Aberdeen have thrown all these strikers on, but they've not really created a real good opportunity in the whole game. So that's what's probably been really disappointing from Jim Goodwin since they've brought all these players up the top. And Kilmarnock are just trying to see out the game at the moment. And they've been really good defensively, so take nothing away from Kilmarnock. They've absolutely deserved the 3 points tonight if they get it.
And Derek had such an Indian sign over Kilmarnock when he was the Don's manager.
Well, that was the question I posed to Cammy earlier. Is it Derek who keeps the run going, or is it Aberdeen? Well, clearly it's Derek. From what I can see, the stats I've got in front of me here, Cammy, 17 goal attempts for Kilmarnock, 6 for Aberdeen, and only one.
I think Aberdeen maybe had one on target, Richard.
Yeah, one on target.
Yeah, and again, it was a comfortable save for Walker. It wasn't anything difficult for them, so they've been really, really poor defensively and attacking wise for me tonight. And it's worrying for Jim Goodwin. I don't see this being a third side spot. I've not seen it tonight. I've not seen it on Saturday, so they really do need to improve if they think they can nail down that third spot.
Yeah, what an afternoon, what an evening rather for Kilmarnock, though. They are, massive. I mean, we talked about this beforehand. What a huge 3 points for them at the bottom, especially with Dundee United winning.
Yeah, huge, a massive 3 points, and Kilmarnock need to keep their form up. Obviously, we spoke about their form before the game at home. They've been really strong here and made it a hard place for any team to come, so they need to continue that, but also they need to start picking up points, even if it's draws away from home, to build up momentum. But this is a huge win for them tonight, and it'll give them massive confidence as well.
2-0 it is for Kilmarnock. Alan, what about your game then? Very finely poised.
Yeah, really good game, Richard. Honestly, two good sides going at each other. A draw's a fair result for me just now. Brophy's been a real difference for St Mirren in the second half. Never created anything in that opening period with a man advantage, but since he's come on, it looked a lot brighter. But Livingston themselves, they've brought Holt on, who's just been booked. They're giving it everything as well. Two good sides going for it, and as I said, 1-1 I think for me is a fair result just now.
1-1 it is. Rangers, well, clearly, Rory, it is going to be 3 points, and well, as things stand, a clean sheet again, and also the opportunity for Michael Beale to have made a few changes.
Yes, indeed. It's since the thirds went in. I know I spoke about that chance for Luca Ross, which was a good save by Alan McGregor, but since the thirds went in, Rangers have been very, very comfortable. Motherwell have seen a good bit of the ball, to be fair, but not in particularly dangerous areas. Rangers have controlled the game. Sands and Kamara have come on and had a good control of the midfield for large spells. I do think they've been a little bit wasteful in possession at times still. Rangers unforced errors, which I don't think Michael Beale will be too pleased about, but overall, like I said, since the third and comfortable night.
He's got to square it to Main. Square it! No, it goes at the angle. Main's going mental in the middle of the park. It's a real tight angle, but if he squares it, Main's tapping it in. He's going ballistic.
That's selfish, isn't it? It's the only way to describe it, which is the polar opposite to the goal that they got earlier on, because Brophy was the provider again. Main was in the right area. but it's against the run of play. Brilliant through ball, Alan. You're right, he just needs to square it. If he just rolls it, there's absolutely nothing that Livingston can do about it, and it has got to be a goal. Really poor decision from Eamon Brophy.
And we're into the 4 added on minutes. That could have been the winner for St Mirren. What a chance.
Livingston 1, St Mirren 1. That is into stoppage time. It's a similar story, or certainly heading towards stoppage time at Rugby Park, where Kilmarnock are 2-0 up. They are in stoppage time at Tannadice, Willie. 2-0. Dundee United's going to be a big one for them.
Oh, huge, Richard, isn't it? You know, gets them off the bottom, and Ross County replace them down there. Listen, in this form, in the form that I saw them in Saturday, then they've got a good chance of getting themselves out of the relegation zone. They play nice football, they've got a goal threat, they're organised defensively, got a lot of experience in that squad as well, so I think Liam Fox will be delighted. And by the way, 8,249 of a crowd here, just about all of them home fans, so it's a magnificent turnout from the fans as well. They've been well entertained. They'll go home happy tonight.
No, that's excellent. Yeah, absolutely great crowd. 8,249. You know, it's going to have big bearing at the bottom. Looking up from the bottom as it stands, County 15 points, Dundee United 16, Motherwell 18 points, and Kilmarnock on 19. So that's the scenario we touched on earlier on, that Motherwell could drop further down if results went against them, and those results looked quite feasible, and that's how they've turned out as things stand. They're almost there, certainly into stoppage time at Ibrox. Rangers 3, Motherwell 0. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 3. He'll be heading towards that point as well, Michael.
Yeah, not far away. Obviously just wait to see what injury time is given at McDermott Park here as well, but it's, you know, inevitably when it goes to just a goal between the sides, there's a moment of just nervousness from Hearts or whatever, but they've just calmed themselves down a little bit, and inevitably, invariably, the man that's at the heart of it is just Robert Snodgrass. He's always free. Whenever anybody's under pressure, it's almost like they just try to find his feet. It's like he's the spare man, and he just controls the game. Calms it down, slows it down, speeds it up, whatever the game's needed,
down here.
he does it.
One-on-one. Oh, he's missed again. The flag goes up. I don't think he was off. Be very tight. Be interesting to hear your opinion, Leanne.
I think he's well off.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, I literally just caught it as I lifted my head there, Rory, and it looks as if he's just gone maybe a yard or two early.
He's not done himself any favours though. I know he doesn't know he's offside at the time. He's still got to stick it in the net, and that's twice he's had those opportunities and missed them both. You know, you want to come on and you want to make an impact, and he should have 2 goals already, Ravi Matondo, and he's not been able to do it. And that is full time at Ibrox. It finishes Rangers 3, Motherwell 0.
So goals from Morelos, from Goldson, and in the second half from Tillman. Rangers cruise through to a 14th win of the season in the league. 45 points. They are going to be 9 still behind Celtic, who are 4-0 up. We will, once we've tied up these games, we'll head to the closing stages. We'll get commentary from Easter Road, Hibernian against Celtic. We have been running that online, of course, at bbc.co.uk/sports. Scotland into the 5th minute of stoppage time, I think, at Tannadice. I've just had a full-time whistle somewhere. Maybe not.
Oh, what a
it's
goal!
a third.
Goal at Rugby Park.
Yes.
And it's a goal for Aberdeen. It's Matty Kennedy with an unbelievable free kick from probably 30 yards out, over the wall into the top corner, and they've got 3 minutes to hang on. Kilmarnock, it's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 1.
So the goal has come in stoppage time. Kennedy, of course, scored a brilliant goal against St Mirren at the weekend. He's repeated
and a goal at United, Richard, as well. For United, it's 3-0. Craig Sibbald it is with a left foot, picks it up just inside the box, gets his head
There's
up.
a chance for... Oh, what a save for Xander Clark. Xander Clark comes up with a big save right at the end of the game. I'm not sure who, I think it's Mitchell maybe that's up there at the end. He gets a head on at the back post. He must have been flagged for offside because Clark flicked it over the crossbar. It looks like, yeah, it must have been offside.
I'm just waiting to see it again, Michael. I don't know if he does get a hand to it, does it?
Sure, it
comes off the top of the crossbar.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he does stretch for it, and I think he's got it covered, but it's just marginally too high.
Do you know, it all came from a ball getting played in the inside right channel, and Sipic lets the ball bounce. He's got 3 St Johnstone players round him. He lets the ball bounce, and then they get the ball, they're able to swing it in and get the cross and the header at the back.
Full time at Tannadice. 3-0 United,
Thank you. Randall's own goal. Mulgrew and Sibbald getting their first goals of the season. Deep into stoppage time. Livingston 1, St Mirren 1. Almost there, Alan.
Full time, Richard. 1-1.
So
Honours even and very much deserved by both sides.
Montano and Main with the goals. Pittman and O'Hara with the red cards. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 3. That's in stoppage time. Well into stoppage time now. So is that game at Rugby Park, where Aberdeen have just got a... Well, is it going to be a consolation or not? How much time have they got?
Could be another penalty here. He gives the corner kick.
Which team?
For Hearts, it could be. For Hearts, sorry. Michael Smith was down the right, played the ball in, came off Montgomery. For me, it should never be, but whenever you see it hit a hand, you do wonder. I would imagine it'll get checked as well, but it's out for a corner kick at the moment.
Yeah, they'll look at it, Michael. It looked to me as if his arms were by his side. I'm not entirely sure if it comes off an arm, but I know the way he's looked to block the ball, but hopefully get a closer angle.
It's a corner, they're not going to give a penalty. Which is the right decision for me, but massively inconsistent.
Yeah, it comes off the body or the right arm, which is tucked right in by his side and is closest to the ball. So there was no way it was a penalty.
Right, quickly to Cammy. Well into
corner
stoppage
in the last minute for Aberdeen. Richard, goalie's up as well. I think this could be the last opportunity of the game. Matty Kennedy's going to swing it in and need a good delivery. No, it's gone. Well, he's given another corner. It looked like a goal kick to me, to be honest. He's given another corner to Aberdeen, so Matty Kennedy gets another opportunity.
Well, you can hear the frustration from some of the Kilmarnock fans. It wasn't quite as sweary as the fans at Livingston, it has to be said. But we'll just stick with Cammy as we see this towards
Matty Kennedy's putting the second corner in. It comes in too far. It's something far side, and that could be the last opportunity for Aberdeen. It remains Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 1.
Okay, still not quite there. They are still playing that 5-goal thriller in Perth. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 3. Is Barry Mackay's goal going to be the one which ultimately separates the sides?
Well, St Johnstone are on the attack. The ball's with Cammy McPherson in the middle. He clips it over the top. Stevie May's in the box. He's just facing away from goal. Hearts have got plenty bodies back. It's now with Dre Wright trying to work an angle. He's in. He cuts it across the face. Civic managed to get his head on it. Hearts desperately. Full time. 3-2 to Hearts.
Well, what a game that turned out to be. Remember the highlights from all the matches.
Full time at Rugby Park, Richard. It's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 1.
Full time is there. So those full time score lines: Dundee United 3, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 1, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, Rangers 3, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 2, Hearts 3. We're going to join our commentary team at Easter Road. They've been describing all the action online. Pat Bonner, John Collins.
Packy's still not right, John. Maybe you can't remember either.
Those Easter Road pies. You should be chewing them.
Welcome to listeners on BBC Radio Scotland. You timed that well, Packy. He's got something stuck in his throat and he's unable to speak to the nation just now. 84 minutes played, Hibs 0, Celtic 4. Some big results and some big defeats for teams across the Premiership this evening. And Hibs, despite starting this game pretty well, have ended up on the receiving end of another doing at the hands of the champions. 10-1 in the aggregate this season between these two. It's James Forrest to get a hat-trick in that game in October. Picks up on the halfway line, rolls it into the centre circle for Moy, who goes back to Starfelt, and he rolls it with the right foot out to the left-hand side. And it's going to be picked up here by the debutant Vata, the 17-year-old, driving down that far side. The challenge comes from Eli Yuan, who plays it back off Celtic's number 69, and it goes behind for the goal kick.
Good work for Yuan. He's working back. 5 minutes to go. He's still doing the ugly stuff. He's had a decent game for Hibs today. Going forward, he's been their biggest threat going forward, and he's had it tough defensively because Celtic's left backs have been constantly bombing up and down the pitch, so he's had to follow them, but hasn't always managed to keep up with them, but he's done his best.
David Marshall clears long with the right foot on the 6-yard line with the goal kick as it sails over the head of Eli Yuan and out for a throw-in over on the far side for the champions, who have been insatiable at times. As that comes back the way to Joe Hart, who's looking for the clean sheet here. Celtic opening the scoring through Aaron Moy. His first for the club, scored it in 28. 8 minutes later it was 2, a fine finish from Daisen Maeda. Moy got his second from the penalty spot on 58 after a handball by Lewis Stevenson. And Kyogo Furahashi's 15th of the season on 64 minutes means, if anything, tonight Celtic will be increasing their advantage at the top of the Premiership by that single goal, adding to their goal difference. Bernabei down the left, they might get another one here. Cross ball comes in, away by Porteous, picked up by Vata, and it comes off the defender and behind for Celtic's latest corner.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a young player coming through the system too. He's been around obviously since he was a young boy, and to come through the system and make your debut this time of the season. He tried a few last year, I think, the manager, and didn't quite. We haven't seen him sort of progress, but this is an exciting young player.
Just over 19,000 is the official attendance. Jota goes for goal from the left-hand side of the box, and that had plenty pace on it, but it's gone behind the post on the reverse side, and on 87 just about, it stays Hibs 0, Celtic 4.
Yeah, Celtic dominant, I think, in this game. You probably can't find a time in the game when Hibs really, maybe the first 5 minutes, which you would expect, high in tempo, Hibs pressing them, getting a few crosses in the box. But since that, really, Celtic have absolutely dominated.
Celtic got so much quality, but you add in the work ethic, the organisation from a team perspective, in possession, out of possession, the movement, the constant movement of every player, the rotations, nobody's standing still, everybody's wanting the ball. Easy for the man in possession.
Hatate with a cross, it almost got to Jota, but not for the first time in the second half. A last-ditch challenge by Rocky Bushiri has put it behind for Celtic's 10th corner of the match as we approach 88 minutes. Many of the Hibs fans have long since headed for the hills. There's some still beginning to filter out just now. The Celtic fans have loved watching their team here. Drop points in 8 of their last 10 visits before tonight. As Jota crosses in from the corner, headed away by Cadden. And it is Starfelt rolling it out to the left for Bernabei. He's skipping in field and moving it back into the centre circle for Hatate. And then Starfelt, short ball to McGregor, rolls it out to Jota on the left. Do Celtic have a 5th goal in them? Jota into the penalty area. Again, it's Yuan who's helping out from that far side, and he's actually fouled by Jota inside his own box. Free kick Hibs, 4-0 Celtic.
He has had to do that dirty part of the game, tracking back Yuan, but his best is when he's on the front foot. Yeah. Give him the ball, he's got pace, he can go and create, but we haven't seen enough of it tonight, and unfortunately for that young man, it's been a better experience because he's not been able to show what he's made of enough.
Well, you need service, don't you? And the forward players from Hibs haven't had enough passes from the midfield and the back four. They haven't had enough possession to feed the forward players.
It is Cameron Carter-Vickers rolling it along the deck out to Hatate, midway inside the Hibs half on the main stand side. His pass though is in behind Jota. It will be cleared by Hibs. The long ball from Kenny comes all the way through to Joe Hart. He'll let it go out of play for a throw-in on this near side. But in the 90th minute, and I hear there will be 3 added on at the end. And it's going to be a Celtic ball. Hatate with the throw short to Carter-Vickers. Under pressure from McCurdy. And then back to Hatate. He finds Hart inside the 6-yard box. Rolls it to his left for Starfelt. Yuan in close attendance. Short ball forward to Moy. He's had a very good game, Aaron Moy. He really has. As the long ball from Hibs is won back by Callum McGregor. Out to the left-hand side for Vata, who skips in field. Short ball to Bernabei. About to go into injury time. Bernabei goes through the gears to the byline, tries to pull it back and wins the corner off the sliding Cadden.
I have to mention Bernabei's done really well since he's came on. Getting to that byline, overlapping, putting balls in the box. Showed a good attitude as well.
Short corner quickly taken back to Moy. Up against Henderson. Plays it short to Forrest. Looking for Jota. Cleared by Cadden. Hibs will have to dust themselves down pretty quickly. Edinburgh Derby coming up on Monday, 3 o'clock kick-off at Tynecastle Park. And they're going into it off the back of a, as it stands, 4-0 defeat to Celtic.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have a lot more possession of the ball than that they've had here tonight. Here's another chance.
Yeah, it is. Jota at the edge of the box. He shoots, and it just goes wide with the deflection, helping the goalkeeper out, but he wasn't sure. And it's another Celtic corner, this time on the near side.
One thing, you know, when Jota's coming across the surface there, across the 18-yard box, he's looking to pull the trigger every time. He's got a fabulous right foot.
Jota and Forrest over the corner down on this near side. We're in the injury time. Celtic finishing the game in the front foot. In comes the corner, comes off Kenny. The Celtic supporters in unison appeal for a penalty for handball. We're in the second minute of 3 added on. It's 4-0 to Celtic, and they are going to check it.
Now,
I don't think it.
I've got to say,
it's come off the deck.
This is spoiling football.
Yeah.
Things like that. The ball ricochets off the ground, hits your arm.
They've quickly ruled it out.
Shouldn't even be VR.
They've quickly ruled that out. Yeah, this was always going to be a difficult match for Hibs, but this is going to be an 8th defeat in their last 10 matches.
Yeah, well, that's the other issue. Tonight they were well outplayed for most of the game.
What you would say is their first half performance at Ibrox and then the 4-0 win over Livingston here at the weekend suggests that there are better times to come this season. But before tonight they were on the same points as they were 12 months ago. I mentioned this earlier, Aberdeen before tonight were just a point better off than they were last season. Those two clubs are toiling again.
Yeah, but when you're up against a team like Celtic who play the way they played tonight and
what can you do?
Two-touch, very, very difficult for them.
There's Vata getting it from Bernabei into the penalty area. Rocco Vata goes for goal. It's blocked by Bushiri and it pops out to Henderson. We're in the final 30 seconds of the stoppage time at the end of the game here. Moy wins it back off Henderson. They're utterly relentless as McGregor rolls it to the left of the box here. Vata again up against Cadden. To the edge of the area for Jota, inside the D, looking for space to shoot. Squeezes it to Forrest, first to Giakoumakis, back to Forrest, over the bar it goes. It's come off Cadden, but James Forrest really should be wheeling away in celebration there. He's unlucky, and it stays 4-0. We've played the injury time, no time for the corner. It's all over. Celtic end the game with a wonderful piece of play that almost brought about a 5th goal. And James Forrest, who scored a hat-trick against Hibs in October in Glasgow, almost put the cap on what was a magnificent Celtic performance once again. It really was. Hibs came out the traps though really quickly and had opportunities themselves in that first half. There was Chris Cadden in the ball in the net after 3 minutes, ruled out for offside. Turns out he was about a yard off. Daisen Maida just a minute and a half later sent a diving header just wide of the left-hand post before Josh Campbell ought to have done better. Left-hand side of the area after Rio Hitati took a throw and went straight into the penalty area. Campbell got onto it, but he lashed it wide of the right-hand post as Hibs looked to try and score a goal while they were very much in the game. Aaron Moy began to ease them away from it though, scoring his first Celtic goal in 28 after good work by Daisen Maida on the left. Maida got the goal himself on 36. Brilliant run, drop of the shoulder, and he struck a powerful drive past David Marshall from distance after magnificent play. He'd hit the bar just a couple of minutes before that. Into the second half with Hibs trailing 2-0, Kevin Nisbet sent a header down into the ground and wide when he ought to at least have got it on target. He probably should have brought Hibs back into the game on the scoreline on 53. But they were made to pay 5 minutes later. Lewis Stevenson adjudged up, handled in the box, and Aaron Moy dispatched the penalty, sending penalty hero David Marshall the wrong way and rolling it low into the left-hand corner of the net to make it 3 before Kyogo Furuhashi scored his 15th of the season in 64. Brilliant work by Callum McGregor to win it back. Celtic sprung Hibs. Kyogo still had a lot to do. He too dropped the shoulder on the left foot, calmly rolling it past Marshall to make it 4. There were other opportunities for Celtic to make it 5. It stays at 4. But if anything tonight, they've increased their lead at the top of the Cinch Premiership because they have gone a goal further ahead of Rangers by virtue of winning their game by 1 more than Rangers managed at Ibrox this evening. Have Celtic been in better shape going into an Old Firm game? I'm not sure. The way they're playing right now, 12 successive league wins. They've only lost one now of their last 51 Premiership matches. This is a behemoth standing tall at the top of the Premiership right now as they set their sights on Rangers and the second Old Firm derby of the season on Monday afternoon. Hibs have to lick their wounds ahead of the Cross City derby at Tynecastle. It finished at Easter Road tonight. Hibernian 0, Celtic 4.
The Scottish